Got juked. Okay. I mean, this is oh my gosh, like what? It's scrims, excuse me. So stuff happens. Let's start off with some codes here. So we don't want to like go overly in detail. I just want to kind of treat this like, what can we learn from this in terms of how the game is played, and make it more interesting by having the background of players that we actually care about, rather than, oh, let's analyze how Dive and Brawl are played, you know, or Spam is played with a bunch of, like I said, a bunch of plat players that we just don't care about. Okay, so you guys know the routine. We're not here. This is not power rankings. This is strategy. This is clearly Shock trying stuff out. So he's saying proper Junbin, Vindane, Finn, Stalker, Lip, Hawk, Fielder, Vigilante. Everybody's on their mains. Let's play this out. Now, here's the fun part though. So I'm going to try and break down what I think about all of these things and how I predict them to play. And I can give you some fundamental truths. When Hawk's in, we want Stalker, Lip, Fielder, Vigilante trying to control space and do damage at the same time. When Junbin's in, we need Heesang proper and so on doing stuff at the same time. Like there's some base fundamentals about map control and timing and things like that that are just laws. You just do not break these rules. Now, what's going to be interesting to me is some of the details. Like, we've never really seen a composition in Overwatch League like the one we see in our top left. And we've never really seen a composition in Overwatch League like the top right ever before. I mean, we've seen similar compositions. Even I think Doom and I do think was played at some point in time, but not with a Cassidy, right? And not a lot of Doom either. So this will be very, very interesting. Now, let me try and predict to you guys how this is going to be played, or how this should be played. So first things first, we're probably going to have this core rotating as a unit to try and force the Anas in on the back foot. They're going to try and put attention on Tracer, Doomfist, with the ultimate goal of clearing out off angles so they can access backline. Because if they just go to point, Lip, Stalker, Vigilante, Hawk, whatever, will take the entire map away, take all the off angles, and point will be a bloodbath. You'll get toasted. Everybody will just die. Sounds like Shock was on ping. Right. So what we're probably going to have happen here with Team Blue, which is Shock, we're probably going to rotate clear out high ground, and then from here make the decision, do we want to just focus on point now while keeping our Cass, Mei, and Kiriko on high ground to control space, or do we want to continue to pursue and chase down and kill these guys? Now, what the flip side of this is going to be from Atlanta is it's really important that Atlanta establishes pressure early and often. Where you have your Zenyatta Harmony Orb, your Ana's range, your Tracer on a flank, your Cass on a flank, and importantly, your Doomfist constantly putting pressure on the enemy backline, constantly putting in pressure on the enemy front line over and over and over and over and over again. Chat, I need to update the codes. Give me 1 second really quick. My bad, chat. Commands, edit, codes. 1 second, I almost forgot. So it's 4BF. 4BF, I'll type it in chat, don't worry, I'm updating the command as we speak. BO7, then and YYPH9F, and then the last one is Yo38AM, and then there's one other code that is Vegas and Rein, which we might look at as well, which is 0SGJN9. So exclamation mark codes are, we're going to be trying to look at these codes here. So basically, long story short, as the composition that Atlanta's playing, you're going to be trying to control all the angles and all the flanks because you have superior mobility, you have superior range. Basically, Atlanta is going to try and close the distance and going to try and rotate through angles. Now, what Atlanta will not do or should not do, or Shock should not do, is run straight to point and then try and run it down mid, because that's going to allow the enemy team to pincer you. Tracer, Cass, and so on will take pincer angles, which will mean that your attention is going to get split. So what you kind of want to do is what I call doing your homework. And let me get Microsoft Paint pulled up here in just a second, because this is really important. So doing your homework is controlling space before you force a brawl. So let me actually screenshot this so I can show you what I mean. This is doing your homework, okay? If this comp runs the point, Ana Zen take these positions here. All right, here. Maybe I'll zoom back a little bit. You guys, okay, this, can you guys still see this? Yeah, probably can. Let me know if you guys can't see this. You take your positions here. You have Cassidy also here, probably, controlling this angle here. You have Doom and Tracer probably rotating deeper. Maybe even have your Tracer with the Zenyatta Orb over here. And like I said, it's a bloodbath, right? It's a bloodbath. So, what you do is to prevent yourself from getting crossfired on from multiple different angles, is you do your homework. And what that looks like is as the Brawl comp, the short range composition, with speed, that's very important, you clear high ground. You run right at one of the off angles, probably the high ground one. What does this mean? It means Doomfist has to leave. It means Ana Zen or Zen and Tracer, Cassidy, whatever, have to leave. And while they're running, they're not doing a lot of damage. They'll shoot your Ramattra a little bit, but they can't shoot your backline. So you force them to rotate away, right? Probably back towards their spawn. You now get your Cassidy and Mei in the power positions, which are right here. And then we can go to point, right? So we rotate on an angle, and then we either make the decision to pursue or to go to point. But then once we go to point, there's a ticking time bomb before these positions up here are contested again by the enemy Doomfist and Tracer and Zenyatta. So then at some point, Junbin is probably going to need to go back up top or find a way to pressure onto the backline. Remember, this comp is better up close. This comp is better from far away. And this comp also has a massive advantage with mobility. So what they're going to need to do is occasionally go back and clear out those off angles. Punch out that Tracer. Clear out that Doomfist. Because if you let them slowly take out the space, it's stifling. Because they're going to take all the positions in the world to kill your backline. Ramattra over Reinhardt. I think Reinhardt's better, personally, because I think Reinhardt is more mobile and is quicker at doing this. I think Ramattra does have the speed boost, and he has a little bit of range with his gun, but I think we're not likely going to be seeing Junbin ever reach on a Zen here or Cassidy, and I think that's a weakness of Ramattra. Rein has Pen, which allows him to quickly close the distance, to quickly access on a Zen if they overextend. And I just don't like. I think Ramattra, even with his speed boost, is just not as fast as Pen. I think also lack of shield means it's a lot harder to play around Discord and Sleep Dart than it is with Reinhardt. Exactly, Dalth. Exactly. So I don't like this composition, but I don't know what it looks like in scrims. And Shock, as we've said, is experimenting with things. Let me put it this way, chat. If you are not trolling at least 20-30% of your scrims early on, especially in the season, or early on in patches, you're trolling the lobby. You need to be trolling the lobby to not troll the lobby, because you have to try stuff. Because trying really crappy stuff like this, you might figure something out that is like, oh, I didn't even think about that, right? Like maybe this map, it's actually really consistent to bait the enemy team to get close. And Ramattra is really, really good at closing the distance with his E, and his E allows you to get onto backline better than Reinhardt does. So I think Ramattra is a weak point here, but there's been many times that I've been wrong, and there's many times and OWL coaches and OWL teams have also been wrong. Oh, this hero is trash. Oh, wait, actually, it's not trash. I'm an idiot, right? So you experiment with things. So. Right, so Atlanta is playing more for mastery. They think they know what they want to play. They think they know where their strengths are. Shock is playing more to experiment. And there's times when you need to be doing both. Both of these teams might be in different positions or different cycles or have different priorities. You might prioritize testing more when you're not confident where your hero strengths are, or you're confident that you're not in any rush. Atlanta may be confident that they think they've solved the meta and they just want to be ahead of the curve with mastering the meta. And I think that's also totally fine as well. So let's see. How do we roll out? We know how they think they should roll out. But Vigilante just, again, range, right? Like everything comes back to range, you guys. Range and mobility. So they get out really fast. They get the TP. But there is a higher risk when you play at this distance that Ana or Cass or Zen are just going to ruin your day, right? It's a mechanics play, but also, you know. Okay. So we're gonna wait. That's a huge W for Atlanta, because that's gonna give them a lot of space to be able to take good positions for their backline. Now, interestingly enough, this is a good position for Atlanta's backline, but it's a little tight. With an amp speed and a wall, oh, they go off of May. Maybe they don't think that the wall is gonna be good enough here. Yeah, so what the Tracer does is I mean, it's like a... Basically, you just want to get on the backline with Tracer. The problem here is that you have a Discord disadvantage and a Harmony disadvantage where your Zen can pocket their Tracer and mirror your Tracer, and your Tracer will never get in a position to dive backline if Stalker plays it properly. So what will probably happen is Heesang will actually stay with his core and then try and take a late off angle. Because he will get no help if he splits. I agree that May is probably not the best pick on this map, but I do think that Maywall allows you to close the distance, and I think it might be really difficult to do that. I will say this, y'all. Doomfist should be absolutely broken into this composition. Like, I don't think there's a better tank, especially on this map. There's no CC, there's no high burst damage. Doomfist has a favorable matchup into, I mean, really, like, he just can just go in and out and in and out and in and out and just probably never die. Like, I feel like the only time Hawk should die is if he messes up. I don't think there's anything else that can kill him. Like, there's just no CC at all. There's no CC, and he has a permanent Ana and Zen pocket on him. And the other thing is, because you're playing Doomfist as well, it's like your Ana can play so aggressive because there's not a lot of healing needed. So this is what we talked about with early and often pressure, guys, right? You're playing to your range signature. So Vigilante is not only pocketing his Tracer, not only does that force Heesang to play with his core, which is exactly what we predicted, but Vigilante is able to play at a really juicy range and just spam. Like, this comp cannot win if they cannot close the distance without taking damage. And right now, Hawk, Stalker, Vigilante are doing an amazing job. Look at the lip taking the angle here at controlling space. Like, this is insufferable. Definitely a comp differential as well, but I think Atlanta is playing this one really well. What about Ramslow? Yeah, Ramslow can definitely help to close the distance. That is one of the things you're going to have to do. So there's a diva. Is Diva better than Ram? I mean, Diva's going to be a lot weaker once you actually close the distance than a Ram, but it will allow you to close the distance more because it can allow you to Matrix on rotates. Yeah. I don't know. Again, Heesang should just be permanently marked. I mean, look at that. Just constantly being shot at. And not just marked by the Tracer either. Zen can shoot. Doom can shoot. Cassidy can take an angle and shoot. And even just a freaking body shot on Tracer is undealable. Like, you can't deal with it because she doesn't get range support. Now, the only thing I think I could say that they could possibly do is they could have Heesang taking an angle with Fen, and just have Junbin play really disciplined. Maybe even Fen goes with Junbin and then have like your Lucio Cassidy play on their own angle. So like you won't have Zenor, but you'll have a Kiriko sitting on you. This is tough. Again, it's the range, guys. Like, Vigilante is disgusting. But at the same time, like, this is what Zen's good at, right? Like, rolling the dice. Every time you stand in front, there's the copy on the mark on the Tracer. Stalker will win every Tracer duel like this. Heesang will lose every single one. There's nothing that Heesang can do. Doomfist is very self-sustainable, so he almost should never die. There's no CC. We're just controlling space. We're punishing them at range and controlling space. Punish. Never ever let these guys get a clean dive. This is kind of trolling a little bit with the cover usage, but like, yeah. Never ever let them do anything. Control space. So they're going to Kiriko ult and point, but again, do you look at the distance here? Look how far Vigilante is right now. Like, he's so far, and obviously he's going to get his Transforce here. But it's all about, like, making the enemy team overextend And then finally you get the trance forest. Meanwhile, Fielder's like, I don't even need to really worry about my Zen because he's just gonna trance and I can help people do stuff elsewhere. And they haven't used a single ult. Yeah, the problem with Ball though is versus this comp is it would be okay, probably better than D.Va, maybe, I don't know, but it's like a hero strength thing, and then also it wouldn't just be an automatically I win button either because you still have Discord, Sleep Dart, and Tracer Mark to worry about. Not to mention Cassie is actually really good at burning Ball too. This is clearly just a fat, like he's just slow. He's planning to trance this, he just doesn't trance it, that's all. He just thinks he doesn't need to. He just gets BAM! Right there from Proper. Like look at Proper here. I think it's the headshot. Maybe it's a headshot. Or not even a headshot. He just gets deleted. So Vigilante was walking forward, ready to trance. He just messes up. That's all. But again, do you notice that they look at how much that they've had? Look how much it costs them just to get on top of the Zenyatta. Like there's a very real chance that this fight is still not even lost. There's the Nano unlit. Let's check this out just for fun. I'm not gonna be doing. I decided I don't think I'm gonna be doing specific player POVs. Because that's crazy. Because I think there's just not enough gameplay to like really justify it, and people are just trying stuff, so it's not like people are like tryharding. But yeah, this we haven't even built a beat yet, and this map's over. Oh, look at me, sleeping on the Lucio here. So they get the Kiriko, they get the Lucio. We still have a trance. I don't even think our trance is gonna get forced here. We've just never been able to close the distance. Never. Not even once have we been able to close the distance. So really nice execution from Atlanta. They did a phenomenal job of keeping pressure up really hard on Heesang. They did a phenomenal job of just outputting monster truck levels of damage. Hawk is disrupting the dive constantly over and over again, making the backline turn around instead of focusing on moving forward. Good execution from Atlanta. I do not think that they were pressured very hard because I think the composition from Shock just wasn't working out. But I do want to respect the execution by Atlanta. Where am I? Hello? Okay, we are here. Somewhere we will find ourselves eventually. Yes. Okay. Any questions so far? How is Doom comp supposed to be played? Versus that composition, the Doom comp was just when the enemy team tried to start rotating onto your backline, you hit them with either a punch or a slam on either backline or frontline to just split their attention and slow them down. Because the longer that they like, you can even look at it. You remember when Proper, like, this is like a perfect example of like what I'm talking about. Now Vigilante messes up and doesn't translate, but this is actually a perfect example of what the Doomfist does. So watch, they're trying to rotate. We got to push backline. Kiriko, walk on the Zen, walk on the Ana. Let's get to the backline, dive the backline, right? But then as we're like diving, do you see her being punched around? And then Proper almost dies, right? Finn and them, they're not even thinking about killing Honest. They're thinking about keeping Proper alive. So as we're trying to get to the backline, we're getting punched in the jaw, ow, from the left and right as we're going. And Doomfist will never die because he has not only a little bit of healing support, but also you don't have a lot of CC. Do you see that? We had to use Suzu on the Doomfist. So that's how the Doomfist is played. Very quick, very self-sustained, disrupts the pressure. Exactly what a Ball will do. So yeah, you try to go for hit during rotations, right? Because they want to close the distance, and you are saying no, you can't close the distance without being hurt. Basically, literally being punched in the face while you're trying to close the distance. Yeah, okay, so then now we try a Rein comp. Now, I think Rein comp, if executed well, should have a lot of potential on this map, because similarly to the last map, I do recognize that this has Mope and Sightlines, so I'm curious, but I think it has at least potential, because with the Rein comp, every single time you roll out here, you should win the high ground. Because no comp can meet Rein comp toe-to-toe on short sightlines like this. So in my opinion, you're going to win the fight for the high ground, and I think that's pretty important on this here. Now, what I imagine is that you'll see, oh crap, they're on Rein, guys, we need to play here, guys who might not have like our Cassidy, like we need to kind of control longer sightlines and leverage point. And then if we can get like the Reinhardt to drop, then we can clear high ground. So what I would like to see, if this was, assuming that nobody just instantly dies like last time, Rein comp clears high ground, establishes their backline on high ground, and what I would probably do is I would drop either my Mei or Rein to point, but I need one of them to stay to prevent the backline from Atlanta from walking forward. Because if you walk forward, you walk into a Mei or a Reinhardt with Lucio, it's kind of scary. And then the other one's touching point. And then from here, you have power position for your Bat, for your Cassidy, for your Mei, for your Lucio, so that you theoretically can avoid the spamming list. Like, do you see how like the spamming lists aren't that good for Ana Zen if we're on high ground like this? Now, if we are talking for the Atlanta comp, remember you have advantage of range. Okay, if you can't get a good sightline with your Ana Zen, you utilize your mobility by pocketing whoever's on point. Like, let's say you get Stalker, a Harmony Orb, Hawk, a Harmony Orb, and a pocket, and you have them harass with Discord whoever's touching point. You harass the angles. And guys, point is an angle if you're on high ground. Do you guys see that? Anything that's split is an angle. And then if we drop, like, let's say our Lucio to point, well, now the angle is high ground. And so then we have Hawk and Stalker harass high ground. So wherever there's a weak point, we put our attention with dive. Wherever there's weakness. Even if you don't get a kill, you pressure the weakness. So I think I could see both compositions working here. I think point is pretty strong. I think the high ground is pretty strong. So either one could work here. I'm curious to see how this plays out. And again, guys, I don't have a lot of scrim experience here outside of the few scrims that we've seen. There's the far rotation. What I would actually like is this. So I actually think the mistake... What's the mistake with the backline positioning, guys? If you guys watched my Samido versus the World analysis versus Vegas, you would tell me what the problem is here. This is a mistake from Atlanta. What's the mistake? Stacked, right? There's no reason for our supports to be stacked. Zero reason. That gives too much cover to the enemy team if both of our support LOSs are avoidable. So what we should do here is probably have Zen or Ana here and the other one here on an off angle. And then from here, we can support Hawk or Stalker or Lip better. Support should almost never stack, but supports should stack if they're at an active threat, if they're in the process of being dove, potentially like that. So the problem with this positioning here is it's going to be harder to support Lip. Do you see how we can't see Lip now? We can't see Hawk very easily. We can't see Stalker, and we can't get enough damage here. So what I would like, I'm trying to think who would I like split on the high ground here. I think probably Ana here, because she's a little bit tankier, right? And then your Zen can just play like a spam bot a million miles away from here. And then you can Harmony Orb and Discord Orb from here. The only reason why I might like Zen here is because you can Harmony and Discord point, which will help you to win point a little easier. But it does mean that theoretically, if you got like an amp speed and a Mei wall, you might be able to catch the Zenyatta. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is a wide open maps, but there is a lot of corners and stuff. So, yeah, see, Hawk has to give up space because of his support's positioning here. Now, I'm curious, did they find a split later? Yeah, see, this is what happened. Now, this is what we predicted. They choked them out of high ground. Now, what I would like to see is a support position that can support point. This is so funny. This is so funny. Vigilante, honestly, bro, Vigilante like sits here and Harmony Orbs point. This actually could work. Maybe it's kind of a troll. I don't know. Maybe. But Stalker needs help, and the problem with both the supports is neither of the supports can pressure point, which means that all the way I have to do is like he's saying drops the point. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So how much of this is reaching versus how much of this is just smart play? So like, look at this, y'all. So if we could get like an amp speed and hard commit, we might be able to catch Cassidy and Ana, but we lose point. But then if they kite it really well, we might end up getting shot in the back by Stalker and Hawk. I don't know. Like, we have to be so decisive if this is the play. Like, we got to be so decisive in drop wall, kill Lip. But it looks like Shock's being a little bit indecisive here, and I think this might be really bad. We need to decide. Are we going to play for point and force them to walk forward so we can run them down? or are we going to actually rotate down on them and kill them? It looks like a little bit of indecision from Shock. And this means Junman might lose a lot of resources. There's the Zenyatta position we were looking for. I actually freaking love this, y'all. I love this Vigilante position. I'm not gonna lie. As long as he doesn't die to proper. Oh no, no. Oh no! No! Maybe a little too greedy. Okay, okay, yeah, maybe it was a little bit of trolling. I do think that I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Unfortunate. Shock does a pretty good job of choking them out. I think they could have been more decisive about where we're rotating. Uh-oh. Oh, tragic. It was a good attempt. He didn't die to proper, right, so it was totally fine. Uh-oh, like we said, controlling of mobility. Mobility, mobility, mobility. Stalker finds somebody isolated. There it is. Oh, that's tragic. Oh. Oh, okay. I was like, oh, tragic that he recalled even though he didn't get fire striked. But then, yeah. Yeah, okay. I mean, Stalker just pulls them apart. I mean, that's the thing, guys, is when you're playing these really, like, hyper-mobile comps, even if you lose somebody, like let's look at this here. Even if you lose somebody, look at the map control that Shock's comp has. Do you see that they've given up a lot of control of high ground? You see that? Look at their Lucio and Mei. Like, the Lucio kind of overextends, right? But their two beefers are on the floor. And the problem with running an immobile comp like this is it's very hard to go back and reset back up again. So Proper is by himself now. So Stalker is playing Tracer, who can immediately reposition, whereas Shock is not. And see, this split here is fine if the split is being supported. But if you look at Lip's angle here, look at Fielder's angle here, look at Stalker's angle here, there's a lot of positions that Shock has to worry about, and there's not a lot of positions that Atlanta has to worry about. It's pretty straightforward, right? They're all on the floor, except for Proper. So I think Finn needs to be faster. Like, we're talking about a millisecond between this position being held and Proper living. I respect that Reinhardt's going back to control space for his BAP, but it's just a mechanical play. And like we said, sometimes it's going to be macro, sometimes it's going to be mechanics. That was a little bit of both. If you get a kill versus dive, but you give up the map, you run the risk of losing the fight even in a 5v4. And that's kind of what happened there. Nice kill from Stalker. So charging punch, and we already know where the fight's going to take place. It's going to take place on point. We're never ever going to take a fight in this short corridor. It's way too valuable for the enemy team. So what I'm curious about is, like, how are we going to set up this fight? Again, Maywall and Lucio speed is a huge problem here. So we probably won't even have a support playing anywhere near here. We might have them start here, but they're probably going to rotate back towards point. Like, we might see like a Zenyatta playing back here and Ana playing back here. It is worth noting that if you play this one right, a tank can, last I checked, Junker Queen, I did it with Junker Queen, I think I did it with Reinhardt as well, you can make this jump from here to here, but it's hard. So theoretically, you can also still play this position as a support, and it's very difficult to be rushed. I'm a little bit concerned about how late this rotation is coming in. This feels quite greedy. Vigilante's also repositioning at that exact same point in time. This is, from this position alone, Shock should win this. Shock should win this. Now, I don't know mechanically what might happen. Maybe Shock is indecisive here, but I can tell you objectively, if this is two equally skilled teams and nothing RNG happens, Shock should win this fight right now. It's over. They've already messed up. They've messed up. They've messed up their angles. They've messed up their positions. This is a 5v3 right now. This should be over. They missed the wall. Disaster. Nano Doom is actually really good here, though. Why is the Nano Doom so important here? So they're very late on the wall. And this is another thing with a lot of Korean players. Outside of a few OTPs, their Meis in general, like, it's not there. It's okay to literally not use wall and then now use wall. but they mess it up. So I don't know a lot about Heesing, but I imagine he ain't backbone. So yeah. Now, why is the Nano Doom so important here? Why is the Nano Doom so important here? Because the Nano Doom should not get a kill. It might, but it shouldn't. But why is it important? Pelican may? Yeah, maybe. Why is the Nano Doom so important right now? Forces resources? Yeah. Buys them time to reposition? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It just buys Atlanta time so that they cannot die. Like, if without this Nano Doom, these guys should die. With this Nano Doom, maybe they live? Lip has some gonads. I'm not gonna lie with you guys. This is... I mean, look at this. That is... I was like, no way this works, right? Like, he's just standing here like, we gotta give up space. Where's our tracer angle's not even there. We're staying in the middle of the open. He's like front lining versus the cat. Okay. Yeah, that's something. Great. Hawk does a pretty good job baiting a lot of attention. Forces Ice Block, forces Bap Lucio to peel off. Rein also peels off. He forces Lamp as well. So Hawk is saving us right here, but Lip doesn't run. Like, he doesn't run. Vigilante's like, look at Vigilante. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na. Ba-na-na-na. All right, I'm here, guys. Oh. No, this is really, really bad. This is pretty bad from Atlanta. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. They totally goof up the wall. I don't even know if he amp speeded there from Vendame. Like, we should have been amp speeding on a cast instantly. So shot kind of craps the bed. Hawk bails him out, but the rotation from Vigilante and Stalker is so late that I feel like this is probably still lost. Where is Lip gonna run to? Well, I mean, let's put it this way: just drop and run to cover, or at least bait them out, like extend, make them chase you further than they are now. Like, even like honestly right now, he already should be running. He should not be shooting now. He should be running to here probably. But so right now he's just greeding, and then he continues to greed, and then he continues to greed, and then he dies. Now, huge kill by Hawk. That is one of the blizzards of all time. I don't even know what Heesing was blizzarding here. I guess just zoning blizzard. Like, I get it. The enemy comp is really hard to use blizzard versus, but it's literally better to just not use blizzard if that space doesn't matter that much. This is some main play for sure. That being said, let's enjoy some proper. Da-na-na-na. By the way, do you notice what proper's doing here? This is really important. Who is proper shooting right now? He ain't getting fooled. There's a Nano Doom in his backline. You're not killing Nano Doom. So focus on what you can kill here, which is proper and fielder. And this is, now we focus Doom because he's killable. Even that was tight. That was so tight from proper, guys. Like, let's just enjoy this for just a second. Great headshot, great body shot, great body shot. High noons, headshots, and then watch this 2-tap. Tight. Huge play. Great target priority from proper. And that's it. There's your 5K. Was that technically a 5K? I guess it technically was a 5K. Yeah, phenomenal job. Not really bad rotation from Atlanta there. Super late. But phenomenal play by proper there. And even to an extent, Junman, just ignoring the Doomfist and just going in, taking space, right? You know your backline's going to get disrupted, so just focus on punishing the Ana. Not quite so impressed with Heesing with a Mei, but you know what? Mei's a pocket pick. Maybe we're just trying stuff out. So, here's the problem with losing as on a Zen, you essentially, kind of like what the Mei Cass had to do that last fight, you essentially have to start all over again on first fight, which is rotate to high grounds here, get point pressure, try and win an angle off war. But unfortunately, it's no longer a neutral point. It's now a blue point, so you're going to have to find some way to force somebody to drop a Discord them and kill them while keeping distance. So probably we'll see. Why is Hawk so low? Oh, 16 HP. Yeah. Fielder? If you want to make your plat honest feel better, Fielder, one of the greatest honest of all time, just did that. Anyway, long story short, yeah, we're going to be trying to look to take angles on point. Yeah. Now, the interesting thing here is that because we've had such ugly losses, such an ugly loss last fight, you don't have trance, and you also had to use Nano and Doomfist. And the reason why those three ultimates are important is I look at those three ultimates as sustain ultimates. And what I mean by that is as they allow you to survive. Doomfist allows Doomfist to go in aggressively and survive. Nano allows you to survive. If you nano a Cass who's getting rushed on, he lives. If you nano a Zen, he lives. If you nano a Doom, he lives. If you have trance, as we saw earlier, at least when Vigilante actually presses Q, you can run down on the Zen and waste all that time just for somebody to get tranced. So my point here is that the problem here is that Junbin really can kind of just go and go on backline, and there isn't a lot that they can do to stop him, especially if he's able to get without taking a lot of damage or if he doesn't get slapped. So Lana has to be really careful. We have a Shatter, we have a Beat, and you have Point. So Junbin, if this is Hottie, probably like looks to kind of contest Point, maybe not immediately, but at some point he's probably going to pin for backline and look for a solo Shatter. Who's going to contest off from height? Probably Rein or Mei, because they're a little bit tankier and have their own self-sustain. Whoa, I think the wind just blew one of my chairs over in the backyard, or in the back porch. That scared the crap out of me. Saw someone say that Proper was the worst DPS in this lobby. I mean, that's a take of all time. Yeah. So I'm curious who they're going to drop. They are going to drop Mei. And the nice thing about Mei as well is there's always like the RNG chance that you just get a one-shot. And what did we say about Junbin, y'all? I told you. This guy dies. That's why you need your trance. That's why you need your nano. Because, yeah. That's a great play by Junbin. Vigilante has to respect it. This is the new Reinhardt, by the way, guys. This is the cloudy Reinhardt, right? This is the cloudy Reinhardt. You control and contest space with your pen, right? Because even if he doesn't get the pin here, he's able to clear the Zenyatta out, right? So if Zenyatta, even if Zenyatta doesn't die and gets booped over here, right? Look at the Cassidy position. Look at the Ana position. Look at the Ana position, the Zen position, excuse me. They're doing nothing. So the Junbin just shields, backs up, and his team can handle Point. It's a 4 versus 2 because the Ana, Zen, and Cassidy are in horrible positions. Shouldn't he get slapped? Oh, no. No, Junbin's big brain. Watch this. He knows where Ana is. They ping the Cass. He knows where Ana is. It's only Zen. And heck, he even surprises Vigilante. Look at Vigilante's POV here. Ryan's over there. Okay, it's fine. Okay, Ryan's pushing up. Boom, right? This is great. Ana's not in a position to sleep him just yet. So this is where you have to be on the edge of a knife with your support splitting, because Vigilante needs to split to get a good off angle. But if he's too far from his Ana, or his Ana doesn't have LOS on him, and the enemy team has ultimates, they can punish you for being split. So there's a marriage here between finding an off angle, finding being split, but not being in a position to where you could just get run over. And this is why having things like Nano and Trance are so powerful, is they are what enable you to play aggressively like this without getting run over. This is a mechanical misplay from Junbin. That's a mechanical misplay. He needs to know sleep is coming. Rein, if he blocks that sleep dart, the fight's literally won, and he can just walk on these guys and shatter even if he wants to. I mean, he doesn't even really need to shatter. He's already won the fight. He's already won the fight. We could just back up and shield. This is a huge mistake from Judman. So great play, huge mistake. and then also we're late with a window as well, and then it's just tragic. And now Finn dies because he doesn't have lamp. Oh no! Snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory. Disastrous. Yeah, he pulled the high noon early, probably to make sure that it wasn't like lamped, and also to make sure that the sleep dart didn't end in duration, because sleep doesn't last as long. Yeah. So take risks on Zen when you can get bailed out. I mean, you could take risks on Zen when you have good cover, and you can sneak up on him and not take any damage, because like that creates so much space. Like, look, you had the 3 most dangerous targets, arguably, all clumped up in one spot, trying to help keep the Zen alive, and there's 0 chance that Judgment dies if he plays properly. Literally 0 chance. You can't. He just backs up with a shield. You can't kill him. Yeah. So. Retake time though. The good news is though is that did take 0 ultimates from Shock to lose that fight. So theoretically here, we could again should win high ground. We'll probably see. So this is what we're gonna do. Okay, this is the play for Atlanta. Okay, you know what? Actually, let's do this. Let's do this, chat. How does Shock win this fight? How do Shock win this fight? It's gonna be more of the same, but complement it with some of their ults. Think about how their ults complement what they want to do. By the way, Tracer swap again. I actually think Mei is really reasonable in this map. I just think Keysing has done really just absolutely jack all on Mei. Press Q. Well, that's helpful. Take quick before they get support ults. Sure. I mean, they probably track support ults at this point. I'm not going to lie with you guys, especially considering the previous round. They probably assume that they have Nano and Trance. Here they force point. I actually disagree. I think you need to, with the current positioning here, I think you need to clear high ground first, and then force point. I mean, again, like, I feel like these guys are very accessible. We could have our Tracer forcing point to bait maybe their Tracer or something. Or we could even just have a Tracer rotate with us. But I think we just run them down. Zone supports with Deadeye, maybe, yeah. Speed noon to clear high, and then win contest fight with beat shatter. Sure, that's fine. You could win high ground with high noon, as long as the enemy Doomfist doesn't have punch. And then we could go to point, or put our Mei on point, and then beat shatter on high ground if the enemy supports get too close. How will Atlanta win this fight? Now you know that you don't have support ults. Shock thinks that you have support ults. You know you don't. So how do you win this fight? This is probably a lot simpler. Because I think you really only have one play here. Play slow for ults. How? By doing what? Stalker, anchor point. Yep. Kite ults. Play slow. Take angles. I think the clearest plan for me is what Oka said, which is Hawk ints. I think you take angles, you have Stalker on point, and you have Hawk try to just generally disrupt the high ground take with his aggression and with his ultimate, and buy time for Ana and Zen. Can't you stage angles to farm ults? I mean, exactly, right, exactly. It's like the old myth that Genjis either play for assassinations on angles or they play with their team and farm ult. But actually, you should be doing both. You farm blade faster by playing angles. So yeah. I think. How good do you think people are at striking support ults while using scoreboard after first round? Probably not very good. Like I said, I would bet a lot of money that they track double support ult here. Landon is just a freak of nature, or Landon got lucky. Let's see what happens. I imagine we're going to have quite an early Doomfist ult. Do you guys remember how the Nano Doom kind of bought them time previously? I think we're going to see more of the same. Now, my question here is why is... Oh, he messes up. Oh, he messes up. I was like, why is he taking so much damage? Because he was slamming for the high, and he missed it. And so then he gets shot by Tracer, and then he gets flanked, and then... Ooh, that's bad. That's really, really, really bad. He's not at all in a position to buy time. Oh, no, 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 no. He needed to have hit them there. He missed his opportunity. This isn't good. This is not a good start. And the problem is, do you see how much more space Shock got out of it? We could have hit them and held high ground, but now we were actually able to choke them out because of the poke here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That being said, how does Finn die? Oh, what? Mechanics, ladies and gentlemen, mechanics. Shock played this one fairly reasonably well. Choked them completely out, but I think it's Lip or Vigilante. Yeah, it's Lip. Bingo. He had both Shift and Lamp. He was a little bit sloppy with his cover usage, and just, that's it. That's actually so unfortunate. Because, like, yes, you would probably still lose this. Well, maybe you wouldn't. I don't know if you'd lose this fight, actually. Because you have your Lamp, Shift, BAP window, High Noon. Why don't we have Shatter? What happened to our Shatter, guys? What happened to our Shatter? Oh, no, Junbin. No. No. We could have just... It's the problem here is that we've used both Beat and Shatter. Beat was probably okay-ish, fine. Allowed us to choke them out of space really nicely. But we needed the Shatter right here. Like, this is the Shatter for the recontest to force Trance or Nano or both and maybe still get a kill. Because the thing with Shatter, guys, is you don't counter Shatter. You don't. Anytime you Shatter, there is a chance that somebody dies anyway. You kill people through Trance, you kill people before they get beat off. It's like Pulse Bomb. It's not an easy ult to use, but there is always a chance that you just kill people through it. So the major problem here is obviously, you know, Finn dies with both cooldowns because Lip hits a crazy shot. But, you know, you needed that Shatter here. This is not great. This is just a little bit sloppy. I mean, really, I don't think this Trance is even necessary. I think this fight is lost. I think this is over. I think it's probably okay because this is last fight, so you might as well just play aggressively with it. This is what I was talking about with the aggression, by the way. You see how aggressively Vigilante was playing? But yeah, and that I don't think they touch from there without instantly dying. Oh, wait, what happens? Ooh. Oh, he just dies after this. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Shock just doesn't look like they really know how to execute this. They're having a really hard time closing the distance. And that's the thing with Brawl versus Dive. Like, not even Brawl versus Dive, Brawl versus, like, this spam dive thing, is you have to be, like, so disciplined with, like, controlling space and not, like, overextending. And you need to have good mechanics. You really need to have good mechanics. Your main needs to be occasionally icicling people. You need your Rein to be hitting your Shatters. You need to be having Lucio that's able to contest their Tracer. You need to be not whiffing your Mei walls. You have to be hitting your shots. Otherwise, you're going to have a really, really hard time. Why doesn't he shield point? Nothing to swing on? I'm not sure. I must have missed it. Let me check. So the goofy Shatter, that sucks. Oh, here? I mean, I don't know. I think he doesn't want to waste shield. He's playing around LOS at the enemy team. That's just more of a goofy rotation from Finn than anything else. But yeah, I mean, I could definitely see like a better Rein there. Probably is aware that's an awkward rotation for his BAP, but it's not like an easy, oh, that's a plot mistake that he made there. That's a pretty tricky situation. Maybe may have been phased from the Shatter as well. Yeah, so you get a little bit distracted. I mean, you guys have to understand, these guys are not robots. One of the things that ticks me off worse than anything, they shouldn't get irritated about that stuff, or they should take their head up, or I don't know why they're getting frustrated about this, or, you know, why are they getting tilted after this? They're pro players. They're paid to do this. Shut up, you moron. That stuff ticks me off. They're humans, right? If anything, they're worse equipped to deal with like this kind of like pressure or frustration because they are a lot younger than a lot of other people out there. These guys are like 17, 18 years old. And they may not have a lot of experience with like dealing with these kind of situations. So like when we're talking about like real life pressure or IRL or game pressure or these game time situations, yes, the best players in the world are going to be able to step up, but it's just so disrespectful to say like they're paid to play and so therefore there should have no issues. Like, imagine if I like spectated you at work and criticized your work quality 24/7 and posts about you on Reddit whenever you made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Like that makes me so angry. Like I know, guys, I am like been like super sweet and loves and kisses recently, but I'm just trying to be honest with you guys because I've been in that situation under a lot of competition pressure, not Overwatch. And I have been in that position working with people who were in that position and coaching them for years. And it's just people make mistakes, man. Like it's just, I don't know. It tilts me to no end. People are just garbage sometimes. And I think it's just like, yes, they're pros. Yes, they're going to have to learn to deal with social media. But that's like saying like, yeah, you know, when we teach somebody how to drive, for example, we teach them that people are buttholes and that you need to drive defensively and be respectful. But that doesn't mean that I'm just like, oh, it's okay that people are rude. Like I saw that post today on Mouthful today on Cal, and it just made me so angry. Like it's just so like, it's like, oh, it was kind of funny, but at this point it's not even funny. It's like, okay, we've made the joke enough times, you know, and now it's just kind of sad, and now it's just kind of like ganging up on the guy, and like, I don't know, like I just don't find that funny. Like it's funny once, maybe, you know, everyone's got to take it on the chin every now and then. You crap the bed, you look pretty bad, but after a while it's like, okay, this isn't even funny anymore, so why are we doing this? Like, I don't know. I'm not even a Mouthful fan. I've never talked to the guy ever. And it just ticks me off. Okay, so same thing here, by the way. This is a little bit of Mystery Heroes from He's saying. Sombra can set up assassinations on the backline, and you can contest Doomfist on off angles. The problem with Sombra is that Doomfist and Tracer are probably not likely to die unless they mess up, because there's nothing to help Sombra control and contest angles. There's not even like a Tracer. Or Diva or anything else. It's literally just Sombra. So Sombra can punish Doomfist if Donghak overextends. However, the lack of Brawl pressure means it's going to be a lot harder for the enemy comp to catch. Now, what they can do is they can go 3-2-1 amp speed, run on the backline, and Sombra can stage behind them for totally free without being scouted. And you have what Chris used to call, or Commander X used to call, a cut, where you have one angle and then you have another angle behind. And Sombra's invisible stealth, perma-stealth, excuse me, allows you to set up a cut whenever you want. So that's one advantage of Sombra. I actually think Sombra to punish Doomfist engages is not very consistent. I think it's more along the lines of, is Hawk going to mess up? Which Hawk might mess up a couple of times, but Hawk is not going to. Hawk is one of the best Doomfists in the world. So Hawk is not going to make mistakes frequently. And so you're kind of playing to abuse enemy team making a mistake instead of setting up your own more consistent playstyle here. So they will again control this high ground because Brawl comp, short range, they win the range comp. My question here is On His End going to be able to take angles elsewhere? I don't know this map well enough. Maybe here, maybe here. I will say again, there is room for Rein and Lucio here. Like Rein and Lucio, if it's executed really well, is a pretty good argument for being the best composition on at least 2 out of these 3 maps. I'm just questioning Shock's execution at it. Where bronze rank? Good question. I gotta fix that. My bad, y'all. So we gotta fix our rank in the bottom left of our screen here. Master Kiriko. Egads. No. Bronze. There we go. My bad, y'all. So he does get the Doomfist out, which is nice. There's the rotation towards coast, as we kind of predicted. Stalker messes up massively. Whenever I see this in the kill feed, I'll let you in on a little secret. Whenever we see this in the kill feed, it's probably proper or some form of spam. Like either Finn hit a shot or proper hit a shot. Let's find out. Right, so that's it. Like you're not gonna have Lucius one-shotting people usually. So it was just Stalker kind of griefs. This is a big mistake from Stalker. This is not even that good mechanics from proper. This is just really, really poor discipline. I think he sees Lucio low. Yeah, Lucio low, and so he goes in for it. But honestly, like, the odds of getting this kill are just so low. And his team is rotating at this point in time. So this is just a little bit of greeting from Stalker. Now, the tough thing about this is that you need your DPS to have, like, bloodlust. So that they don't hesitate. It is worse to have a DPS that hesitates than it is to have a DPS that feeds, in my opinion. I mean, this is a spectrum, right? I'm making a blanket statement there, but this is just poor timing, like really poor timing. Like even if this guy's low, worst case scenario, you'll force like an amp or a nade. Very unlikely that you get a kill here because just look at the situation, right? So just a little bit of greedy. Timing issue? No, I think Stalker's aware of timing. It's just Stalker just grieved. Grieved and griefed. Or greeted and griefed. Griefed. He griefed, not grieved. He did not grieve. We are now grieving for him, but he did not grieve. This is, again, another mechanical thing. There's just no reason for Junban to get slapped. Like, there's never a reason. That's such a cute flank from Fielder. I love that so much. This is why we want our Ana's in split, though. It, like, where is Junban supposed to feed? You know, or feed. Shield. This is great. And I also love, guys, if you want to talk about, like, Zenyatta's, this guy's playing into Sombra, and he's taking an angle, taking a flank. Why? He knows where Sombra is. And there you go. When you have information, you have an advantage. So kind of like a little bit of a segue here, but when you know where your threat is, that person may no longer be a threat. Hey, Stalker Overwatch!
Thanks to Timothy for my sub gift.
So if he knows where Sombra is, he is no longer countered by Sombra. Sombra is countered by him. And really the same thing goes for Hawk even. Like Hawk gets hack here, but he cancels the hack. And there you go. Why is Proper on hit scan? Probably because Proper's the better. I don't know. Is he saying a hit scan player chat, or is he saying like a flex? Yeah, I know it's not the real Stalker. But Proper is like a hyper flex in most of the ways, I would say. I don't know how good a lot of his projectile heroes are, but he could play a lot of heroes. So he's saying is more of a flex, right? And Proper's more of a hit scan flex. So it's just comfort picks. Proper's probably a better Cassidy than he's saying. Yeah. And right now, I think Cassidy is one of the stronger DPS heroes, so you put your best hero on the best hero, and that's kind of what happens. So this is a great play by Vigilante. Really nice rotation. Also a great play from Fielder as well. I will say this. I don't think I like this nade from Fielder. So remember, we want to put pressure, but we don't want to just use nade for the sake of nading. Like right here, I actually think Fielder should probably rotate towards spawn and then see if he needs nade for defensive purposes. I think he just missed it on the squishies, to be honest with you guys. He is going to get isolated. Okay, this is what we kind of talked about, though. So, like, Rein comp has to be very decisive. They see an opportunity to kill, they go. Now, the funny thing is that even if Fielder dies, I think Atlanta still won this fight, right? This is what we talked about, right? Like, as you're running down a flank, you are getting flanked. And that's why Fen dies. Now, I want to see why Fen dies in terms of cooldowns. Because, theoretically, we should be sitting on Sleep Dart. He's not. That's a mistake. Because he needs to be able to rotate confidently. He doesn't even nade. That's a huge mistake from Fen. Huge mistake. Because your team is going to rotate at some point, and you need to have that nade to kind of defend yourself and or use offensively. Why the Ana over the BAP? Strictly for Doomfist. That would be my guess, because Doomfist absolutely craps on Baptiste. Because even like your lamp, you could just get punched right out of your lamp. It's strictly for Doomfist. Like Nade is a really powerful cooldown, Nano's a really powerful cooldown, and Sleep Dart deals with Doomfist really well. And to heal Sombra, I guess. That's true. That's actually a great point as well. Ana works better with flankers like Tracer or Sombra than Bap does. Easier to heal them. But yeah, they take the angles, they take the flanks, they pull them apart, they get all the map. You know, I think Shock was a little too indecisive, a little bit too slow. Obviously, Heesing dying wasn't doing us any favors either. But despite Stalker dying early, you know? Yeah. Like, if Finn plays that one better, Fielder dies, and Finn survives, and arguably Hawk would have died as well, because we would have slept Hawk, and then Hawk dies. So, yeah. I did like the rotation that Shock did, so they did through here, and then they dropped through here. And the reason why I like that rotation is if you notice what killed Finn, it was just Doom. The Ana, the Zen, and the Cassidy couldn't see. You see this? So it was really just the one angle from the one hero that you had to worry about. And if you can't peel off a solo Doom as 4 people while you're killing an Ana, you probably deserve to lose. So that was more of a mechanical play. I don't think the rotation from Shock was bad. I just think the mechanical execution was bad. there it is, right? Now, Hawk shouldn't have been slept here. I don't know what Hawk is doing. Chalk, I say. I don't know what Hawk is doing over here. I think he tries to bait. Does he mess up? He tries to bait, but it looks like he gets stuck. Oh, he does. Do you see it, chat? Do you see it? I was like, there's no way. Check it out. Look at his punch. He's trying to punch. He's mashing his button, but it's on 0.3 seconds, and so he sits there. Then he punches, but it's too late. That's actually super funny. Like such a micro, teeny little detail, and that's actually a huge deal. Now, here's the question. Because I was, well, you know, I guess here's the thing is when you get, it's not so much as like a good eye. I guess it's a little bit of a good eye, but it's not as impressive as you guys think, is what I'm saying. Because I look at this and I'm like, I know Hawk would never just get slept here just by inting like this, right? Like that's just inting, right? So something had to have happened that caused that. Because the funny thing is that if Hawk has a punch there, he actually baits Sticky and Sleep and survives easily, and Sleep is a huge one. So then he gets out, he gets really low, he gets out, he gets healed back up, and then now he can go in really hard and probably will build his ult. So I knew something was up. But yeah, anyway, it's the same thing when I saw Stalker dying and I predicted that proper hit a shot. It's just knowing that Elusu it's going to take some form of burst damage to kill a Tracer like that. Oh, by the way, little shout out for Hawk. I don't know if you guys saw the interview with Yiska and Hawk. Yiska does he's phenomenal interviews. I've been doing some interviews myself, but Yiska is just so much better than I am. But anyway, long story short, had an interview with Yiska and Hawk, and I'm not a huge Hawk fan. I don't know Hawk that well, to be honest with you guys. I mean, I think he's a good tank. I mean, no disrespect or any disrespect. I just think he's a good tank. There's just nothing really there. But after listening to that interview, it went from kind of like a neutral position, but I was like, holy cow. Like, he was so well spoken and had so many like insightful and thoughtful things. And I think also some of the humility as well. I don't know. I thought it was just a phenomenal interview. I had to send him a message afterwards. I thought it was just such a nice interview. So I would consider checking that one out. Yiska, maybe somebody in chat can link it. But that was one of the best OWL interviews I think I've ever seen. And it wasn't even like some dramatic, exciting. It just was really solid, really, really interesting, and gave his insights on like esports and you know, his career and his growth as a player in Atlanta. Very insightful. So shout out to both the Yiska and Hawk for that interview. Okay, long story short, this is the juice here. Okay, so I guess my question is here. Let's talk about lose cons. I think I had a question somebody to ask me, what does lose conditions mean? This is something that I learned from Christopher. And a lot of what coaches learn from each other isn't necessarily new information, because I already knew what lose cons were. Obviously, everybody knew it, but it was like the way to phrase it to make it memorable. And that's what a lot of coaching is, because it helps players to remember in the heat of battle. So what's a lose con here, guys? What's a lose con? How do Shock lose this fight? I'm not saying they will, but I'm saying if they were to lose it, how would they lose it? Well, they already hit the sleep dart, so we don't have to worry about missing sleep. Jumping off the map, Fielder's anti-5, yeah. Junbin feed, right? What are the things that we have to care about, I guess? What are some things that we have to care about? Because we look at this, we're like, we got to kill, guys. We're good. Well, hang on. We're all 1 HP. We've used our sleep dart and our sticky, and Stalker still has an angle on us. Right. So we have to be really cautious here. I think you get a kill a lot, and this is a good thing to learn for ranked as well. Just because you get a kill doesn't mean that you win the fight. It increases the chances significantly, but it doesn't mean that you win the fight. Right now, not only did you get a kill, but you got the high ground, right? But it costs a lot of cooldowns, and it costs a little bit of your HP as well. So let's take a second, make sure that we're safe, and then maybe put a little bit of attention on Stalker, shoot him just a little bit, force him out just a little bit. Then we can decide, do we want to rotate and cap point, or do we want to pursue on high ground? It's not, oh, we're being too aggressive. It's we're being aggressive at the wrong times. We just spent a lot of our currency, our HP, and our cooldowns to secure 1 kill. that currency will regenerate. But if we try and go right now, we might die. I'm actually curious here. Sorry, guys. I'm actually curious here how we even get naded. Is this a micro misplay? Is this a huge play from Fielder off the back wall? I would say a little bit of a misplay. I'm not gonna lie with you guys. Because the number one thing that you should be doing as Reinhardt versus any composition with range is to block the follow-up. If somebody's sleeping here, you have the damage to kill this guy. Fan the hammer, one shot, a couple of Lucio headshots, he's done. You do not need to pin. You do not need to punt. Your job to be like, this is a good, again, ranked learning experience here. Your best thing that you could do to peel your team as Reinhardt, 9 times out of 10, is to make sure there's no follow-up from the enemy backline. Trying to stop punch out, maybe. Yeah, that's actually true. That's a good catch. That's a good catch, Artifice. Maybe that's what maybe he didn't know the sleep dart. Yeah, actually, Artifice, I think you're right. I think you're right. That being said, let's say he did know the sleep dart, we would need to blockade. So this is a... Oh, yeah. Great catch. Great catch, by the way, Artifice. I think you're 100% right there. He was trying to block the punch out. Hack would cancel punch anyway. Yeah, but maybe he's saying he's not sitting on the Doomfist. Do you see? So, I don't know. It's a little bit unfortunate. It's a great play by Fielder. Obviously, I don't think they even knew Stalker was behind. But what do we say, guys? Lose cons. You know what I'm saying? Lose cons. Now the Sombra's out. Now we have a pocketed Tracer in Discord. This fight's lost. That's actually crazy. That's actually insanity. I'm so glad it worked out like this, because this is exactly what we talked about, right? Do I think Shock misplayed that one horrendously? Not necessarily. I think it was a little bit unfortunate, but we know why they lost that. That's wild. Kit Junman body block punch while holding shield? Potentially, yeah. That's all pretty advanced tech for the heat of the moment situation, and I hear that Junman probably is Junman a main tank player? How much experience does Junman have on Rein? Do we know? Oh, this is an aggressive play. This is a hyper aggressive play. Oh yes? Okay. So maybe. I don't know. We're expecting a lot here. Super aggressive. Now, chat. Should the Ana Zen comp play aggressive into the Reinhardt composition? This is a trick question. I'm going to go and give you a fair warning. Should the Ana Zen composition play aggressively into the Reinhardt composition? Haha. Klups is a Twitch sub for a reason. Look at what Klup said. Aggressive at range. You can absolutely play aggressive, but we have to define the aggression. Let's whip out the old paint here. All right, check it out. So, if you were playing aggressive, Akash, thank you for the gifted subs, mate. I appreciate it. Are you streaming, mate? Guys, Akash is one of the best tier 2 tanks out there. Had an awesome collab with I think Karki. Was it on Orisa? I honestly don't remember, but check him out. I really appreciate gifted subs, mate. Anyway, long story short, do you see the distance between these two teams right now? As soon as the Reinhardt walks out, let me actually show it to you right now. Let me show it to you the distance here. Do you see the distance here? Right here. Do you see this? This is what? 20 meters? Something like that? Now, I don't know what the line is exactly, but 20 meters seems like a decent amount, right? And what we have here is Shock and Atlanta, and they're playing aggressive. Why? Right, you think of the sub, mate. Why? Because there's distance. Do you see all this gap here? You can play aggressively as long as there's a gap between point A and point B, because you are able to get spam damage on and off. By the time they get to you, they're already low HP or they've burned ultimates, So here's the point here. When we say aggressive, you can play aggressive at range. At range. You cannot play aggressively up close unless you had like a massive supportal advantage. So you couldn't have Anazen playing like here. Or you couldn't have like Rein all the way pushed up to here and then Anazen like holding the corner right here. Why? Because you wouldn't be able to get enough damage before you get your supportals forced. So my point here is the reason why this has a chance to work is that this aggression is placed at a distance to where we can actually get good damage out early. And you see how like look at this. We got a Discord angle, we've got an Ana angle, we've got a cast angle. Now, this is kind of a narrow choke. There aren't a lot of like really good flanks and things here. So I don't know if this is going to work, but even just the element of surprise and the range alone, this has a chance to work. Huge nade. Review me live if you want a top 500 EU game. I appreciate the offer, but I'm trying to get the AL games situated right now. But thank you for the offer. Thank you very much. So let's check this out. Huge nade, huge nano, huge engage, and you can even see that Stalker is set up for this. This was clearly planned in advance. Really just a brilliant position. Really just a brilliant setup from both Atlanta. I think this should work. And it's such a cheap fight win too, guys. Such a cheap fight win. Such a cheap. You use the nano and you win a fight. Now, I want to see this. Now you're like, all right, he knows what the Sombra is, so he has the advantage, right? Well, unfortunately, the Sombra knows where he is, too. So that's a nice play from Heesang. Good play from Heesang. And now we're going to have a wee bit of spawn camping. So you're going to see Atlanta actually has to give up space because they're concerned about the spawn camp. And there it is, right? You see the Ana, you see the Tracer, you see this, and this allows his team to walk forward. Yeah, they blew them over, got filtered. Yeah, so nice play there. Now, it's interesting to note that the Ramatra swap, again, there's something that must be theory crafting or testing as a way to close the distance and to kind of... Now, one nice thing about the Ramatra is you can get some pretty decent poke damage on the Anazen and Cass, so we will see. They catch the Tracer, they force the recall. This is really smart, by the way, from Heesang. It's just unfortunate that he gets shots by High Noon. Now, because you're thinking... Just Grad, thank you for the sub, man. I really appreciate it. The E's good versus Doom as well. That's actually true, right? So, here's the thing, chat. Look at Shock's rotation. Look at Shock's rotation. Can they access backline right now? No, right? Not core. So Heesang has to make a choice. Either I distract backline while we shoot point, just be like a general spooky, right? Or I try to control one of their off angles, the Tracer. Because even if I don't kill her, I can force her recall out, which means she has to go back, which means we easily cap point. So I actually think what Heesang is doing is the correct play. It will guarantee that they flip point. Oh, not guarantee, but it will increase the odds that they're going to be able to capture point. And then Heesang can then go set up for backline once we've taken some space. So then I think controlling Tracer here is probably fine. The unfortunate thing is I just don't think he thinks that Lip has the angle on him, and Lip did. So that's just, again, a mechanical mistake. And if you guys don't know what I'm saying when mechanical mistake, when I say mechanical mistake, I just mean just a goofy play. And honestly, Atlanta or Shock never gets their ults. They never had an impactful beat. They never built a shatter. They never even used their EMP or their tank ult. You know, so Atlanta compositional choices. I think on first point, I liked the composition a lot. The distance felt brutal. On the second and third point, I think there was a little bit more options. I think for a brawlier oriented or a shorter range composition, I just don't think Shock played very well. I think Atlanta played very well. I just think a lot of mechanical mistakes and goof ups may or may not be correlated with ping, caused some issues. Now, I want to remind you guys, this is on ping, right? Is this on ping? Does anybody know? Shock? Maybe? I'm going to have to pull out my own codes command to find the next code here. Okay. Codes. Shock was on ping? Okay. All right. Rumor? Okay, fair enough. Let's keep going! Next map. Oh, this will be fun. All right. Do you see the abomination on your screen right now? Why does one team play on ping the whole time? When you flip server host the map to get good scrims? So what I would probably guess is they probably played West Coast server. Almost certainly played West Coast, which would mean what? 150 ping, 170 ping for Korea? Something like that. And like 80, 90 ping for ATL. So Atlanta still has the advantage with the ping. Yeah, so I mean, it's honestly... there's just no way of getting around it. If you want to scrimmage a good team, you're like, we're shocked. We would like to scrimmage Atlanta. They're a good team. We're just gonna have to bite the ping differential, you know. And it could be that there's some other teams that are good teams that are on West Coast, but they may have players in EU, so they're not able to ping or scrim or whatever. Who do you think is the better team? Oh man, you guys are baiting me. This is like early, people are not even at their team houses yet. This first game is like still whatever. Yeah, just chill. Okay, so Donghak. Did I butcher his name? I do not know how to pronounce his name. Let me look it up on Wikipedia. Unless you guys know. Donghak? Okay, so I did say it correctly. Yeah. Donghak. So no dong. Donghak. Okay, got it. Donghak. Yeah. All right, listen, y'all. Some of you guys are noobs. Some of you guys have been around for a little while. So let's talk about Shock here. Let's see here. How does Shock win? How does Shock win? Because you're like, yo, Sombra Tracer, they're gonna dive and kill the on his end. Yo, it's gonna be awesome. How do you, you know what? I'll even give you guys a hint. How do you control space and win? Poke better, play for picks, slower, dynamite engagement backline, hack ball. Well, I'm talking about Shock, so I'm talking about how did the Ash Tracer comp win? Clear the flanks. Why are there so few ball specialists? Because ball is freaking hard to play at an Overwatch League level. Angles. So my thought process is this. If we can get proper in a good position to do one thing, just one thing, and that's to shoot people, then we might be able to peel the dive. Because that's the thing, guys. When you get your hit scan in a good position to where he or she can shoot the ball, poke out the ball a little bit, get him to low HP, force Tracer blinks and recall, to shoot the Ana out so the Ana can't nade or heal, to shoot the Zen back so the Zen can't get his score. Like, it's all about, can my Ashe get a good position to weaken the dives before they start? Do you see that? And if you guys have been in my previous analysis, you would know this, where it's all about the Ashe cannot survive a dive. This comp at the top left of our screen will die, will lose, if this comp is able to come in and set it up perfectly. So you do not dynamite the dive. At that point, you're probably already dead. You dynamite the Tracer as she's staging, when she's getting ready to dive. You dynamite the backline right before the dive. You body shot the Tracer. You don't even necessarily need to get picks. You need to force an advantage by forcing, ball to roll away and grab a health back, force a couple blinks or a recall, force self on a nade, prevent the Zen from peeking so there's no discord in the dive. You need to weaken before it starts. But because we have the advantage with range, we have the advantage with mobility. So when we're able to set up all our off angles as Sombra, we're going to win, especially if it's in close range. So then how do Atlanta win? How do Atlanta win? There's two ways that Atlanta wins. Two things Atlanta has to do. One of them is if Shock is stupid. The other one of them is if Shock is smart. One of them is the end goal. The other one is if our end goal is being impeded. Good engages, right. If we get a dive onto Honest and Ashe, we win. With Sombra in the backline, Tracer ball, flank angle, no, we just win. Okay? But we already said that Shock is going to try and stop that. They're going to try and contest off angles, contest flanks, try and prevent you from getting the perfect dive. So what do we do when Proper's on an off angle and just keeps farming us? How do we do this? Well, how do we do that? Here's a question. Who should win the ball 1v1 if Junbin tries to take an angle? Like, let's say Junbin tries to set up a flank. Who should win? Atlanta, right. Anytime, listen to me, chat. Anytime Donghak, or excuse me, Junbin or Heesang, anytime those two are not standing under Proper's watchful gaze, they should lose. Because the Sombra should be able to abuse the 3v2, right? So if Proper is preventing you from diving him by taking a powerful position, find positions where you can LOS or hide. LOS means line of sight. You cut off the line of sight. You hide from Proper, but beat up Junbin and you beat up Heesang. So as long as we can avoid Proper sightlines, then we will win the ball tracer 3v2. And if that forces Proper to play more aggressive, and by more aggressive I mean closer, to try and prevent that from happening, that then opens himself up to dive. Does that make sense, guys? So Lip has to quickly decide, can I dive backline? If not, can I set up and win the HP trade, the cooldown trade with Ball Tracer? And it will be which team executes at that better. Now, as we talked about with the Vegas VOD earlier last week, where we were saying, you know, the theories there is going to be about which team executes on it better. It might also be, is Ashe actually a good hero right now? So I explained to you the theory, but maybe Ashe is just bad, or maybe Sombra's just bad. We don't really know, right? Because the theory could be solid, but maybe a hero is just so strong that it just doesn't matter. But at least we understand what we're trying to accomplish here. All right. So yeah, that being said, these are bloodbath matches. These are ugly matchups with both teams having multiple heroes that could die in the blink of an eye. Ball can die instantly. Tracer can get one shot. Ashe, Ana, and Zen can all die instantly. So it's going to be so disciplined. And honestly, guys, a lot of mechanics here. What do I think of Sojourn right now? I think she's a little bit weaker. They over nerfed her primary fire. Shocker. Why Blizzard nerfs the wrong thing? And yeah, I think she's struggling a little bit right now. So there's the HP trade. This is what we talked about. We're not even staging a dive. And yet we're already winning the HP trade. Now you guys are like, well, what is the HP trade? Why does it matter? Well, because how is Junbin going to get his HP back? He's going to roll all the way over here to his supports. I don't even know if he can go to a health pack. He might be able to get a health pack, but he might have to just roll away. Okay, chat. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. I'm actually going to pull up my paint. Pulling out the paint here. Bringing in the sheaves. Okay, so we have, let's draw a line here of space that we control. I do not wish to do that. Whatever. Right? So, this is the space. 50-50, right? Why did I do green? I meant drew blue. Well, Lip hacks Junbin in a location where Proper can't see. So he wins the HP trade here. Now, Junbin may or may not die. So Junbin's going to do this. He's going to run screaming back to his backline and survive, right? So then no harm done, right? Wrong. Lots of harm done, because now by running back to his team, he does not control this angle. He doesn't even have scouting for this angle. So now this space controlled by Atlanta has just increased by 50%. They've increased it by 1/2, right? And the reason why that's important is now, if, let's say, Proper wanted to roll out high ground, he can't. Lip is over here. And not only that, but Lip can use this angle here to then set up backline dives for free. Whereas if our Ball Tracer were controlling the space up top, Lip, even with stealth, might get spy checked, and so on. So now, and not only that, Vigilante and Fielder can actually roll out high ground because the ball threat is no longer there. You set up stages for your own backline easier by controlling an angle, and you protect your own backline. This is pretty advanced stuff. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And it's even harder to execute in the heat of battle. But this hack is monstrous. What a massive cooldown trait. Now, if Lip did this in front of Proper, he would either die or he would get his translocator forced. Hey, thanks, Kat. Thanks for the sub. I hope you're doing well. So what that would mean, a theoretical net neutral, where Lip would leave the angle and Ball would leave the angle. And so it would be, again, uncontested space. But he didn't. He did it outside of his Ashlight LOS. Junbin probably didn't even know they had a ball, so they lose his flank. So even if Junbin doesn't die here, this is a massive, massive victory for Atlanta. Massive victory, because we can kill the ball or clear the ball and then, again, keep going. And for this very reason, I don't like Junbin and Heesing splitting early. I think I'd rather have them roll out on the same side to start, pick an angle, either that's high ground or far left, and that way they can protect each other and at least stalemate if they do run. Because the teams have to be running Ball Tracer here. Like this, I don't know. Maybe the Sombra is a bit of a surprise, but I think even if Ball runs into Tracer here, this might be a problem in terms of the HP trade. So massive, massive kill, massive HP trade. What? By the way, how's the game volume for you guys? I've got earbuds, so it's a little bit quieter for me. Reason for not being able to get the HP pack inside, because he dies anyway. His best... I mean, he doesn't even get his... He gets his grapple canceled, guys. Holy mackerel. It's quiet? All right. I mean, a little quiet. It's better to have that than loud. Yo, he gets his grapple canceled. The best time to hack somebody is in the act of doing something. So a Doomfist in the middle of block, a Ball in the middle of grapple, a Reinhardt in the middle of a charge. You cancel it out. That's actually brilliant. That's such a big hack. Such a big hack. This is it. This is it. I want to know how on earth Stalker just beats Heesing now. I'd probably because Heesing tries to greed his recall because he doesn't think he greeds his recall because he doesn't think he needs it, and Stalker just absolutely dumps on him. Oh, that's a situation where, like, I don't want to use my recall because I don't think I have to, and if I use my recall I might be exposed, but Stalker is just better. So yeah, that's actually crazy. And that's again where I'm able to catch a cool play, not because I have like big brain, but just because I know that there's no way that a Tracer should die like that. And so something must have gone wrong. Oh my days, what just happened? He doesn't even shields. A little bit of overextension by Donghak. Yeah. A little bit tragic, but that's okay. You'll probably be back soon. There's an assassination attempt. And remember what we talked about with Proper? How are we going to peel off the dives with an Ashe? If the Ashe is able to shoot people before the dive happens, guess what, chat? That's not happening. Finn's dead. Full HP Stalker. Almost no damage even on the Zen. It's over. They're cooked. I mean, this is just... It's got... Junbin's just cooked. He's got a... I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing. He's got his Ashes in spawn. Like, again, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Like, the Sombra doesn't counter Ball if your Ashe can see. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. If Ashe is here, if our Ashe, Zen, or Ana are out of spawn and peeking this here, do you see the sightline here? Sombra, instantly out or dead. Tracer, instantly out or dead. Heck, even just shooting the Ball here would you probably do as much damage to Sombra or to Ball as a hack Sombra would do to a Ball, right? This is just horrific timing and the lack of respect. This isn't, oh, I can't play Ball into Sombra. This is, I'm playing Ball into Sombra and trying to run ahead while my Ashe is in spawn. If Proper was here, Proper could capitalize off of this pressure. He would kill these two or clear them out. Heck, even you're on your Zen being here would have handled this. This is stupid. This is really stupid. He should die for this. And he does. Proper never sees his tank the whole game, and that's the problem, right? Proper never saw anybody when Donghak was going in. It wasn't just that Proper couldn't follow up and help his tank. Proper couldn't even shoot backline when Donghak's in. Or Junbin's in, sorry. Junbin's like and just feeding. This is not good. Not good at all. Timing here is horrendous. And now, I'll say this as well. This isn't super good from Proper. I mean, this is okay from Proper if he gets peel. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. This is just actually like absolutely. This is bullying right here. This is. What Proper's doing here is actually not terrible. He's trying to get early pressure on. And he does have support pocket. The problem is the EMP. They've lost so hard, so fast, and Junbin has fed so much that we already have an EMP. If we don't get EMP'd here and we nade this, Lip has to leave and Proper lives. So this isn't Proper's fault necessarily. This is just the unfortunate circumstance of trolling the first two fights so bad, or so badly, that Lip gets his EMP and then shuts down this follow-up here. So again, I want you guys to pretend here that this isn't an EMP, this is just a manual hack and follow-up off of an overextending Ashe, but actually it's not, because the defensive nade here forces Lip out immediately and Proper maybe hits a shot. Do you guys kind of see what I'm saying? The only mistake here is the fact that maybe we didn't track EMP. I mean, even your Zenyatta's coming in here with Discord and Harmony Orb. You guys win this trade easily, but just, you know, no, EMP ruins it. And we could just keep the snowball going. More HP, more HP, more HP, more HP, more HP. Junbin will lose another 25% ult charge. Junbin is just really not respecting Lip at all. We're down so many people, and he really can't afford to be here. If he needs to be almost in spawn right now. And I know it seems weird to say that, but they're playing Sombra, and they're playing Brawl, and they're playing Tracer, and they have a Discord. And your team is in spawn. Yeah, I don't understand this. You know, again, talk about the support split. As long as Vigilante and Fielder can see each other, they can get away with this. Where is Proper? Is Proper up top? Yeah, Proper's up top. Okay, so I guess, again, we kind of go back to the very first thing that we talked about here. We don't have EMP. We've actually taken so little damage that we don't even have our support ults. So do we look to take the 2v1 on Junbin outside of Proper's LOS? Or do we take this opportunity to try and dive backline? Or do we do two things at once? Let's find out. So they're going to try and 2v1 the Tracer outside of Proper's LOS, right? Proper shows up now, so Lip has to leave. So we're unsuccessful. Unlucky, go next. Donghak gets quite fortunate. So he's harassing backline. He gets the boop. He gets slept out of slam, but lands on the high ground. And he forces them out of a position right into Vigilante's sightline. This is just better dive execution. Better timing, better coordination, better map control. They're winning all the angles. Junbin has put his team in a massive hole. And just like that, we're right back to where we started. Never mind. Disregard, guys. Shock is the greatest. He's saying might be the greatest player of all time. Why did he not get... Oh, his field is dead. Ooh. Honestly, y'all, just a little bit of greed from Fielder. I think if we're just a little bit more patient here, we would have more marking pressure from Stalker or Lip or Donghak that would prevent this pulse run from happening. I just think our backline kind of trolls this, honestly. This is what happens. This is why you very rarely see like full-on stomps, because one team gets just a little bit overly aggressive or overly confident and makes a mistake. Case in point. It's a good stick, of course. It's a great stick, right? But it's also like, you know, we shouldn't have been in a position where on his own we're just kind of like running at the enemy tank line. Don't give them that. Remember guys, remember lose cons? You guys are up to this fight's won, right? The only way we lose is if they hit a pulse bomb. Oh. Right. Case in point. That being said, we should still win the HP trade, and Junbin is just dead again. And now we're on another EMP. Junbin is getting his teeth kicked in. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Lip? Does he lose his Transcater? Come on, guys! What's going on here? It's Transcater out! Give me a break, y'all. This is wild. Oh, boy. Please don't Donghak. Please don't Donghak. What is Donghak doing? Okay, you just lost Lip. You messed up. Your supports are still in spawn. Just chill. Roll out. Roll out. Nah. Oh, no, 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 no. Ah, no. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand, mates. Early season scrims. Oh. Oh. Oh! Thank you, Proper. Nothing like Proper to wash the bad taste out of your mouth. Give him a big kiss. Thank you, Proper. Okay, now this is the good news. This is why winning a fight is so important, is now you actually control space, right? So you can't really stop Sombra from taking whatever angle she wants, but you could definitely mark Ball, you could mark Tracer, you could, and then the big thing is, as we said earlier, we can set up our Ashe in a power position. We could set up our Ashe in a good sightline to punish and shoot Tracer and Ball. And the thing that you have to be careful about here is, no, we don't want to be focusing tank line all the time, but we really aren't playing necessarily for killing backline all the time. Now, remember, like a shot on a Tracer, one shot is probably as much as like a shot or two on a Zen. So, yeah. Moister, it happens, mate. It happens. People just get a little bit sloppy or flustered. It's early season. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trolling you guys a little bit. It happens. It's definitely frustrating, but you know, it happens. Okay, so this is where... Okay. Let me try and explain this. Do you remember, chat, when we talked about the Reinhardt composition or the Ramatra composition on the first point, Ecopoint Antarctica, where we were talking about doing our homework by clearing space and then winning the fight? There's another strategy where you can say, screw space, we're just going to W key in because we have an ult advantage, or we have an ult that allows us to do that. Right now, there are two ways to play. You either just say, screw it, let's just run it down mid, dive backline with EMP and mines, and survive. Let's see what happens. The other thing is we could be like, hey, let's go hunt Junbin with our manual hack and 3v1 this clown again and force him out, and then look for a dive at backline. Maybe we don't even need a dive backline because Junbin dies. So I guess, given the ult situation, you know they have support ults. So an EMP, forehead EMP without your Ball Tracer set up might not work. So this, I imagine this is either going to be a sick rollout from Donghak, maybe a Discord from Vigilante or something like that, that's going to allow Proper to get one shot, or this might fail miserably. I don't know which one's better. You have a lot of ultimates, so you can kind of quote-unquote cheat the game, the system. And by cheat the game, I mean cheat the map control. Just skip steps. But let's see what happens here. It looks like we're looking to cheat. Like, even look at Stalker's positioning here. You see, he's staging here because he can quickly double blink into here. And you can even see Donghak, who has not been marked, is set up. Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily a mistake because Junbin also has mines, so maybe he wants to go for backline as well. Things get really complicated when both teams have ultimates that mean they want to go for backline. But the problem is that Proper, typically, the Ashe comp would prefer to mark instead. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, this is too free. I think that's too free. I really do think that's too free. What happens here? I have some weird ping right there. It doesn't even look like they know he's there. Ironically, the boop is what ends up saving Fen. But then there's the 3-2-1 dive, right? 1-2-3, 1-2-3. There's even Vigilante takes an angle here. Gets a Discord on Ashe. Gets a Harmony on his Tracer. And they're cooked. That's such a weird ping. I don't know if that'll show again, but look at the Ana dies before the ball even slams. At least it did I swear it did the first time, maybe not. But yeah. Now Proper will die. And really, we just haven't had any space control whatsoever. Like, it's just crazy to me that the ball can go all the way around behind and set up a free EMP. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of mechanics there as well. The trance being wasted as well. Proper not getting pocket, but you know, the problem, chat, is remember how do Shock win the matchup? Shock win the matchup by not letting them dive at full HP. And if we go 2 seconds before the dive actually happens, I want you to look at Atlanta's HP. Full, 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 full. They have every angle that they want and are all full HP. You know? You're not gonna win when the Sombra Tracer ball comp can literally get onto your backline while taking 0 damage whatsoever. So, yes. Oh. Uh-oh, they camped it. And he stole the Mega too, looks like. Yeah. Pressuring every angle at the same time, even though the targets are different. Right, and that's the key thing too, because if you look at this from Junbin's perspective, look at Junbin. He's like, oh shoot, peel. No. This is, I actually think, a big mistake from Junbin. I think Junbin probably, with Heesang, should probably have traded backlands. I would have liked Heesang to have left cart with Junbin and try to trade backlines at this point in time. This whole peel mindset just doesn't work. You don't peel a ball slam with your own ball slam. So Junbin is not playing well. I don't think right now, not this round. Heesang gets a little bit of stalling. Junbin goes in. Junbin might lose a lot of HP for that. So now we have another dilemma for Atlanta. A good, not a bad dilemma, but like, you have no EMP, but they have no trance. We have Pulse, but we don't have Mines. Do we want to try and punish Junbin for feeding again? Or do we want to try and set up our own backline? Now, what I might consider is you have your own trance, so theoretically your backline is safe. You don't necessarily need to mark their DPS at all. So maybe we just go hyper aggro, maybe with like even a nano on a tracer, and then just trance our backline. You can also nano Zen, but I don't know if we need nano Zen when we have trance, so we'll see. There's the pulse. I don't think the pulse hits. It doesn't hit. So they nano in response. I think he thinks it's stick, or it's very close to sticking. But yeah, it does look like it sticks. So the coach gun, there's the nano. Can Proper get anything out of this? No, they cleanly disengage. It's a really nice trade. I think Pulse for nano is a pretty good trade for the Pulse side, especially if you didn't hit it. They are going to go for backline, so they're playing very, very... I mean, look at how aggressively Vigilante is positioning here, right? Again, it's the trance advantage. We have a trance, so I can position in any way, shape, or form that I want to. It's like almost like playing a Kiriko at this point, because it just doesn't matter. And then Mechanics kicks in here. Phenomenal sleep dart. Phenomenal sleep dart. I probably would not have even naded there. I probably would have just sat on nade. He was too full in HP. But Shock is getting absolutely dumpstered right now, both mechanically and timing-wise, in terms of the macro. And we could blame it on a lot of things. It's early season. Shock always struggles early season. But I want to give credit to Atlanta, who is playing this one pretty darn well, especially for this early in the season. Nano Lip for ult build? Yeah, that's theoretically okay. The problem with nanoing Lip is that building ult with Sombra is conditional upon you getting a hack on ball. If you're playing, I would nano Lip if it was like into a Rein comp or a Diva comp or something that's more consistent pressure. But if you nano Lip and you don't get the hack on ball, you wouldn't do anything with the nano. All right, again, you have double support ult here. We can go deep, and we're going to go deep with EMP again. It would be my prediction. There it is. We actually don't even get the ball with it, but we hit the tracer and it kills a kill. We'll probably see... Oh, Oh, Fielder almost messes up. Why does Fielder almost die here? He misses the sleep dart. Probably didn't need to rush that one at the distance that they were at. But then they translocate out. Now we can actually just burn Bob. Vigilante. Vigilante has actually no chill whatsoever. Look at this. Woo! Trance. That's crazy, man. Goes back to cover. The snowball is continuing. Zen's discorded left side. Zen left, Zen left, Zen left. Tracer, Sombra, we walk forward. A little bit of overextension by Donghak. And he gets chunked. So yeah, I think at this point in time, like, we just need to chill here. Lose cons, remember guys? Lose cons. We don't need to kill this Ana right now. We've got a pick. We've got a kill. We need to set up and re-engage. And then we miss the pulse. They do get proper. How do they get proper? What? How? That's wild. That's the RNG, right? That's the ego, right? You think that I can stay long enough, I'll hit the shot, they won't. It's a 50-50. That's crazy. Vigilante, Finn is just crazy. And you know this works because you know where their Sombra Tracer Ball are. You know they're nowhere on that flank. And so you guys are looking at like the number of flanks that they're taking. This is definitely a mechanical thing, but this is also just, they know that there's not, if they run into a Tracer here, they die. But they're not going to run into a Tracer. There's the element of surprise. So that's honestly a really, really big play from Finn. If they are able to recontest, it's going to be from that play right there. Now, will they be able to recontest? I really don't like this from Junbin at all. Even with mines here, I don't see the reason in doing this by yourself. This just forces a lot of cooldowns and messes up his staging. And they're going to have to give up space for that. But yeah, probably would have to give up space anyway, but yeah. Yeah, that's something else. Okay, we back up, we set up. Once again, we have a support ult advantage, so we can go aggressively again. Even versus the Ana Kiriko, there's nothing wrong with going aggressively. You have a nano for your Zen. If it's necessary, let's get on proper. You have mines and you're close to EMP. Let's see what happens. You guys have kind of noticed something here that, like, not at any point during this entire VOD have we felt like proper has been able to get an angle on Heesang or Donghak or Lip to force them out. Maybe once have we been able to do that. It's been actually astonishing how little pressure we've been able to. I mean, you could even make a very good argument here that disengage here feels very early, right? Because the DPS, like, Stalker gets scouted early, which is really unfortunate. He goes in too early even. He sees the opportunity for the one clip. Oh my gosh. Oh, he almost gets it too. Look at Finn's HP, y'all. I will say, okay, this is crazy. Check out this flick from Finn and look at the HP that he's at. Check this out. Because I'm like, why is Stalker going so early? Well, he sees a one clip opportunity. So he goes before his backline's ready because he sees the one clip, right? Again, killer instinct. There are rules that are made to be broken when you see the opportunity. So I have no problem with this whatsoever. He goes down, 5 HP and hits the headshot. Check this out full speed. And he almost gets the one shot. He almost, can you imagine if he got the one shot there? That would have been a violent moment again. That's actually insane. That's actually insane. Like he almost punched him too. I actually want to see the melee hitbox here. This is so crazy. This is like insane mechanics from both of them. Really insane mechanics from both of them. I want to see how close this melee comes to hitting. Oh, almost. Like, we're talking like a 10th of a second. That blink almost gets him. But anyway, that's what goes wrong in this fight. He does force Suzu and Matrix Peel, but unfortunately, it's just a little earlier than we would have liked to have gone. We would have liked to have gone now with our mines, but unfortunately, Stalker's already out because he went too early without Zenyatta or Ana support because he saw an opportunity. So it's not a mistake. It's just unfortunate, right? We're talking about a microsecond of a kill. That being said, we do have a nice pincer, and we have fat mines. This will clear the high ground and might kill the Ana. It's a panic nano on Ashe. Proper, go kill something. Let's see what happens. We might nano Zen here. We probably will nano Zen here. There it is. Oh! Oh, yeah! Let's go. There's the sustain ult that I was talking about, guys. Oh, shoot. My Zin's in danger? No, he's not. Oh, this is so exciting. Now all we have to do is keep Donghak alive, and it's over. I'm surprised Donghak even slammed there, honestly. Whew. Sweat. Constantly on the back foot. Really, really nice cohesion and timing. Really nice ult usage from Atlanta. Atlanta just absolutely took their lunch money and ran with it today in every way, shape, and form. Oh, man. Chat, I'm just caster cursing this at this point. Now, you guys are asking, why are we not marking Tracer, right? Well, because we also have Pulse. And he's trying to. But yeah, surely we still cap there, right? Big EMP, they go for it. Tracer's actually a really fat EMP target because she's impossible to kill, but if she gets EMP'd, she's very killable and very one-shottable. So sometimes an EMP onto a Tracer is actually a more important kill than even the backline. We go for Pulse. We might not even need Pulse. She's dead. Oh, she gets Suzu'd. Terrible, terrible. Do we see 9? Oh, Proper gets the kill. This could go either way, chat. Oh, oh. I think they win this. They win this. Yeah, they hold it up. Crazy. So massive pulse from Heesing. Huge. That feels like the second time in a row where Heesing has been able to bail his team out of a really, really bad positioning with a pulse bomb. Hit scan jail. I mean, I think Proper does fine with hit scan. I just think it's like it's just a shame that more projectile heroes aren't viable. Okay. So yeah, I don't want to overanalyze the Kiriko swap. This is just basically Finn going, I can't play Zen into this. I feel like I'm permanently being dead because we're not doing a good enough job marking or setting up Proper in a good sight line. They're probably just limit testing, yeah. I don't know what else you would play here besides Sombra. I don't know if Proper plays Sombra. You could theoretically play Widow, but that would probably be even worse because I think once your Sombra hacks the Widow, I do think she dies almost instantaneously. So with 175 HP especially. So I don't know if Widow's viable in this current meta. Genji's not viable right now. Cass would be okay, but this is definitely a little bit more of a broad open map. Yeah. I mean, it feels like we're trying to mark out. I guess my concern here is that like I want Finn playing more for Proper, honestly. Like I look at this here and I want Finn sitting on Proper's butt cheeks, you know what I'm saying? Like I want him sitting right here. Heal pocket, heal pocket, heal pocket, damage this guy out. Heal pocket, get rid of it. And then if we have to TP away, we have to TP away. The problem is that, I mean, you guys saw this with all the hero reviews we did today. When Finn plays for himself and only himself, he then has to use TP and Suzu to do what just normal healing would have done. No, Echo would not work in this map. No, it's too wide open. And that's the problem here, right? Like this is what we want, right? We kept Proper up during an engage, so theoretically we have an opportunity to win this. But because we had to use both TP and Suzu, and we immediately got put in the back foot, this is a very disengageable fight. I don't like Finn's positioning there. I really, really just do not like Finn's positioning here. We need to be playing way more for supporting our off angles, and our off angle right now is not you, it's Proper. Yeah. And then obviously that's going to force 2 ults, which just get shut down by S-Key, and that hurts. And then how does Heesing die? How does Heesing die? No way this actually happens. I'm going in my Joker art, guys. Bad news. It's it. I've had it with society. I've snapped. It's gone. I'm retiring. Bad news. Please heal me. I don't want to recall. No. I think Vindame's in the action of reloading at the worst possible time. Oh, no. Disaster. A cornucopia of catastrophe. Finn just goes in and kills people. What happens, Finn? Finn's like, okay, this fight's lost. Fine, I'll do it myself. I mean, this is what Kiriko's really good at, right? Like, It's not even like the kill aspect. It's the fact that when she is able to close the distance on an Ana Zenyatta, their hitboxes just make them so much easier to kill. And that's why I was so frustrated about the Proper thing, because we could have helped Proper and done the damage thing at the same time. Whereas we're sitting back here like, you know, just RNG sniping it instead of actually supporting aggressive off angle. So I really think Finn really trolled this fight. All right. Huge DMAC, and that probably means a cap. Because the stagger happens now. Surely Heesang doesn't get another pulse bomb. We have double support ult though, so it should be impossible for them to do anything. Heesang is not having a good time, y'all. Heesang is not having a good time. Ah! Yeah, that's. I think he just lost track of Vigilante. Honestly, that's a bit silly. That's a bit silly, isn't it? And then now we have 4 ults. Nice little juicy stagger happening. And they're just going to walk to point, EMP point, and it doesn't matter. Even if they do pulse here, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm sorry. We just have to enjoy this. No! Oh no. Disaster. Just the cherry on top. Ah. Alright. Wow. Atlanta absolutely dominated. You can make a good argument that maybe the Ashe wasn't the pick, but obviously this is scrims. People are trying stuff, and I'm not sold that Ashe should be written off entirely just yet either. Especially when you have somebody who is as good as Proper. I just think it was just not very well executed with how they controlled space, with how they control angles, with how they time things, and then honestly, more mechanical goof ups. I felt like the only things that ever went right for Shock were the 2 pulse bombs from Heesang. Junbin was feeding a lot. Heesang and some support mistakes from Finn. Yeah, just goofy. You know, yeah, okay. They should have tried the Monkey Sojourn Tracer comp. That would have required an entire full swap, but I don't know. I think teams want to try different comps and different maps, so who knows. Yeah, Proper just did not have any space, and I think I want to blame that. You could definitely blame that a little bit on his positioning as well, but I think a lot of that responsibility goes on his supports, at least this round. Proper is not perfect, but there could have been more help thrown his way. Next code. I have to use my own codes command here. Codes. Yeah, right now, at the very least, in terms of scrims, we are getting a nice amount of variety. Whether that will last or not, his supports, I feel like I'd rather put on both. Why not both? I guess I'm more mad at Finn at a couple of those fights. And even the fight where they had the EMP, it felt like there was no space controlled. That code's not working. What is this code supposed to be? Maybe I didn't copy and paste it. Q, not O? Oh, thank you. Real MVP. I'm sorry, chat. I realize that that's been wrong this entire time. I apologize. I'm going to update the commands right there. Give me 1 second. So if you've been having an issue with one of the codes, that's because I'm a complete Neanderthal. So don't feel so bad about yourself. That is a Q. No, not FOD. Not FOD. Ah, what am I doing? You know, actually having that as a VOD command isn't too bad either. But I'm a moron. You guys are watching live as brain cells dribble out of my ear. There. Yeah. No, I did it again. Chat, I've been reviewing too many VODs. I promise you, my brain cells are functioning. No. See? We're good. It was a joke. See? Self-aware humor. I'm an idiot, guys. Get it? Ha ha ha. It's a joke. I didn't actually do that. Right. Funny. Do you guys stop? Do you guys have Do you guys have any questions so far? Because we're moving on. Just drinking my tea and I'm scrolling through here, getting this pulled up here. Was shot comp more difficult to execute? It depends on the map. So if it's easy to set up your Ashe in decent, powerful sightlines, and it's hard for Sombra to take off angles, then the answer is no. It was a fine composition to play. My question is, how many good Ashe are you going to be able to stop the Sombra from taking any angle that she wants? I have a very distinct memory of Florida Mayhem playing a similar composition at, I think, stage 2 or 3 last season, and absolutely turbo stomping with the Sombra. And I think if you have a really intelligent Sombra with setting up angles and pathing and setting up flanks, I do think that the Sombra comp can be really, really, really strong. I would go as far to say that my gut tells me that the Atlanta comp was better, but I also know that Shock probably doesn't have a very confident Sombra player, so we're probably trying to find some way to make it work. Now, maybe Heesen can play Sombra and they just wanted to try something different. Play almost only Reinhardt, because Reinhardt is really, really good right now on a lot of maps, and obviously a lot of tier 3 and tier 2 NA players are good at Reinhardt, and that's the big reason why. Why Ana and not Brig? Is Ana any better? Ana's better in more open sightlines. However, I do feel that you will probably see some Brig Zen played on some maps, and heck, it may even be the meta if things start to devolve. Brig is quite strong right now, but Ana Zen is greedier. So if you can keep your Ana up, or your Zen up with an Ana pocket in an open sightline map where you could peel for each other, it's better. The question is if you can peel better. Isn't Krusty historically anti-Sombra? I don't know. Break time, special push-ups. All right, Varashi, what special push-ups do we have? I might have to be careful with the push-ups because of my busted finger, but I will do your special push-ups. What push-ups do you want? It's so weird. It doesn't even show up in my thing here. One-armed? I can try one-arm push. I can do a couple one-arm push-ups with my right arm. Lip is also just the best Sombra there is. Right, exactly. Like, you're playing the strengths here, y'all. Like, you have a really good Sombra player. Like, you should be using the Sombra. If I was better, I'd keep my back a little flat and collapse a little less at the end. But y'all would have to bear with me. But yeah, I mean, yeah, when you have Lip, you're gonna use Lip. You know what I'm saying? And the guy was just, I mean, Lip was just pounding that match. Okay, let's do this, chat. What would you say the best comp is seeing some of the best? No team. I don't know. I think Rein comp has looked very good on some maps. Right now, it feels a little more rock, paper, scissors than it has in the past. No, that's actually a horrible comparison. Not rock, paper, scissors, more map dependent. I think the Zen comps with Tracer have looked really strong on some maps. I don't know. It's a great question. I wish I had the answer to it. I honestly don't know. Like, I think like Lucio comps just have to be better here. I feel like Reinhardt, if you had a good Reinhardt player, would have to be good. But no, I just think this is just too good for Reinhardt here. Map dependent is a good sign, yeah. See you, Clubs. Is Ramatra also map dependent? Well, the problem with Ramatra is I feel like Ramatra is in a weird spot where I just feel like Reinhardt is just better. I don't think Ramatra beats Reinhardt in the mirror right now. And I don't think Ramatra, we talked about this versus the spam comps and versus dive even. I don't think Ramatra's better in the non-mirror either. I don't know. Like, I don't know. The problem with a lot of the newer tanks, like the Orisa rework even to an extent, is that we don't really know what the tank's strengths are. So then they don't really fill a niche. We don't really know what that niche is. Ram into Rein is map dependent. Yeah, Ram might be a Rein counter on more open maps, but then on those more open maps, we're just not seeing Reinhardt. So why would you play Ram? You would play Rein to counter the non-Rein strats, and then Ram to counter the Rein strats when you're mirroring. Yeah, it's a mess. Ram is decent versus Mei. Yeah. I mean, the E is really good to force. You can punch Mei pretty easily, just like Orion, I guess. But you can also use your E to force Ice Block. Okay, timing. Like, it's just going to be about timing for really both teams, you know. Do we get good value in a Nemesis form? Is Nemesis form going to be able to choke out the Kiriko and Cassidy positions because the threat of a Ramatra running at you is too scary? And or are we going to be able to synchronize things with Donghak and Stalker. Both teams are rolling out high ground, and the reason why high ground's powerful is that you can use your high ground. If one team doesn't roll out high ground, the other team goes high ground, and then this isn't much of an advantage. But what high ground does give you is it gives you easy pocket access to positions over here that's safer, right? So I could pocket my Tracer as a Kiriko from here and kind of swing wide to point. This feels a lot better than being the flip side and having a Kiriko pocketing Tracer here. It's a little bit safer. So it's the high ground itself is not important so much as what the high ground gives you access to. I prefer a Doom Monkey on Oasis over Ball. No, that's not weird at all. This is a stress testing situation right here. We want to play Ball on Oasis City Center. Let's see if we can make Donghak work on University and Garden. Ball is objectively, I think, that's such a egotistical thing to say, but I think it's as close to objective as you possibly can that Ball is not good on this map or the map on Garden. I think there are much better things. So more of a limit test, and if we roll the dice and we get Oasis City Center, which is a phenomenal wide open Ball map, then we're good to go. And you can make it work here. It's just going to be a question of if, right? And Max is doing a great job here. This is kind of what we talked about, choking people out. And because we don't get the value that we wanted in the Ball, the Ramatra holds the short sight line better and we win the high ground. Now from the high ground, what we could do now is that now we can kind of use this to control the flanks from the high ground. So yeah. The Sojourn and the Cassie is an interesting one as well that I think is probably more correlated with the fact that the Sojourn has slide, and our comp is going to be kind of moving around. I want to see this shot. Nice shot. Really nice shot. You win the flank now, so. And watch Max. Max wants to get within about 10 meters of backline. Within 10 meters of backline. Because if he get within 10 meters of backline, he can force Lip and Fielder out. My personal opinion is it's objectively worse. Brilliant. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not gonna lie to you, this feels a little bit awkward. Maybe it's the Ball causing issues here. But I don't love proper giving up this high ground. I would love to see Kiri, Tracer, and maybe Ramatra kind of leaning and controlling this space here. And I would like to see Vindame and Heesang, what am I saying? Vindame and Proper controlling this angle here and creating a bit of a crossfire. Lucio kind of pocketing Sojourn and preventing Stalker from getting in here and doing too much damage. I do not like, now you think you could argue that, okay, we want Max to have speed when he needs it, but I think we're at more of a stalemate as it is right now, and I think controlling this off angle is more important. I think we've given up too much of the map as it is. Now Donghak kind of messes, again, it's gonna be like, how much value do we get out of this? Okay, so Donghak's out, so maybe we see a push on Lip. They do push Lip, they force them out. Now we turn around and we clear out Ball Tracer. But Heesang overextends. So like we've kind of right now. We've already, he needs to just recall. He's already done his job. They've taken this angle, they've pushed it with Ramatra and Tracer, recall out. Now Ball Tracer are in by themselves, and this entire space, like again, remember if we draw this on Microsoft Paint, where is the space that that Atlanta control? It's only a little bit at the bottom here, right? So could Orisa be played in Koth? Yeah, I actually think like Orisa has a good judge. Like you could probably make a good argument that Orisa is pretty good in the composition that we're seeing right now as well. I think maybe it's a hero strength thing, but I actually think Orisa and Ramatra have comparable goals, I guess. Anyway, this is just silly. This is just a little overextension because we very easily can peel this off, but just, I don't know. I will say this as well. This is why I didn't like proper giving up the angle and high ground and having the Lucio here. Because what value of Lucio's speed have we gotten right now? Right? Nothing. We've gotten zero value out of Lucio's speed. We're playing to kind of like mark angles and slowly threaten space, but not actually do anything with it, right? And then in addition, proper gives up this off angle. And then now we're stacked. this makes for a really easy dive, because even though they don't control any space here, we don't control as much space as we probably should either. Swift Catalyst, thank you for the sub. How do you manage increase uptime and ball? Our players all so much have out time, but I can't figure out how to increase mine. Timing with your team to make sure that you're not the sole attention. Playing around cover, playing around your cooldowns, playing around health packs, managing your shields uptime. Also, you have to keep in mind that like what Donghak is playing into is essentially he takes 0 damage versus this comp. So he needs to be doing a lot more because he has 0 counters. You might be playing into a plat lobby where the second they see a ball, they go, you know, Brig on a Cassidy, and your survival is more of a priority than actually doing things. I do not like Shock's map control here whatsoever. I think they do a good job forcing these guys out, but unfortunately, Vindame does not deny. Well, he kind of denies it. Proper, I don't like this, guys. I see 5 people all stacked. I think it's too easy to set up dives. And then also, I assume Lip hits a shot here because Proper gets chunked. Or maybe it's a headshot from Fielder? Or from Finn? There it is, right. So he just gets 1 shot. I don't like the map control here. I don't like the map control. Again, we should have cleared out top. We did clear out top. Rotate 1, 2, 3. Have your Lucio, Sojourn, Pincer, and then make the decision from there. I mean, heck, you could have even had your Kiriko here with your Lucio here. Probably wouldn't have worked as well because your Ramatra would have started to take too much damage, but I don't feel like the angle control here. But I should using shields and ball on my initial engage, second engage, or when you get low. Whenever you get fat shields, use them. As long as the engage is happening, because they last long enough to where it's probably reasonable to use them sooner rather than later. So yeah, I don't know. Very indecisive, cautious, and like if you're gonna stack like that, you got to run it down, you know, when the ball's out. But I just felt like very indecisive, and I really do not like the Ramatra. I think the Ramatra is a real weak point in this composition. And the other thing too is like if you're playing Sojourn and you're not playing Sojourn in an aggressive position, then you shouldn't be playing Sojourn, because Proper hasn't leveraged the slide whatsoever. He's not playing aggressive positions at all. So why play? If you're just gonna play like these passive positions, just play Cass, who's gonna do more damage. I don't know. I don't get it. So we're probably gonna see. We did see the Cassie swap, but they're gonna try the Ramatra. Yeah, it does feel a lot of this round. A lot of this scrim feels like Shock trying to understand rush comps and not executing on them well. That's a very accurate, I think, observation. Hey. Maybe if it's something that I can eat without like chewing too much. Proper, ladies and gentlemen. Just a free fight win, you know. I will say this is silly. Yeah, this is just silly. Like, the pulse bomb's a little bit unlucky, but again, we've already kind of done our job right here. So chat, what should Max do right now? Again, I want to upgrade. You guys were like what, Masters 2 chat instead of Plat chat after our last review. So what should Max do right now? You guys tell me. Let's get to Masters 1. Oh, let's have a Masters 1 chat now. Stabilize. Don't int. Pursue his passion in banking. Right, just hold. Right. You got, most of you guys got it. Yeah, just chill. You force them out of this position here. You force Lip back. You've created space by making Lip be in a really bad position. Peel off the ball. Chill. Listen to your backline screaming blah 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 peel, and just wait. Then, when you get stuck, you will get Suzu'd, and you will live. And then you will then go with amp speed now, right? Run in with Nemesis form and butcher Lip, and you win the fight. The timing here is just off. When our backline is peeling off a ball, unless we're confident that we can do it by ourselves, we can't be running into the middle of the enemy team. We need to be holding space, preventing Lip from following up, Fielder from following up off of the ball slam. But don't go in and actively feed. This is just poor team play. This is poor team play. And this is something that is a lot harder to execute on than it looks. A lot harder to execute on. Which is why not everybody does it. Which is why even Overwatch League teams can look uncoordinated, because it's difficult to do this. Huh. I'm curious to see why Proper sticks ball. I assume that's what he does. No, he doesn't. I'm blind. I didn't even see the stick. He just died instantly. Wow. Okay, that'll do it. That'll do, Pig. That'll do. This fight's still questionable. Oh! Thin. Huh. Maybe. Oh, they juke the mines. That's massive. This fight's probably won, I guess. That's a recall as well. Yes, should be one. Surely. Shoot the tracer. Whoa! Nice, did I? And we win it. Nice. A lot of mechanical plays here. Oh man, that's just wild to me. I just feel like this should just never happen. He didn't even know Ball was there. Oh, that's just so unfortunate. Whoa, no Suzu? Oh, he used it before. That's a huge kill right there. Huge kill from Stalker. Okay. Here comes the flank. Lucio survives. Play to live. Nice boot from Vindame. That's going to follow up. Now, as they overextend, lose cons, they're going to walk right into Ramhold if they're not careful. Oh, Donghak. What happens to Donghak? Come on, mate. He done so well. Oh, we just got murked. This is why Lucio boop's so big, guys. Because when you boop the ball grapple, it's not just the damage that you mess up. You also put the ball in a position he doesn't want to be out in the open, right? But you're like, well, wouldn't he slam you out in the open as well? Well, yes, but when he's slamming you, you're moving, and so it's harder to aim. So actually, if you look at this here, Finn, and really anybody that doesn't get slammed, it's easier to hit targets. Yeah, so brilliant. Really nice boot from Vindame. He hit the first one as well. Lucio is the silent ball counter when it's played really well. Maybe not so much as a counter, so much as it is your defenses versus the ball. And now we finally got to a point where we're choking it out. So chat, see, we were wrong all along. Ramatra is the best tank in the game, greatest of all time. Okay, here it comes. We already know what's going to be happening here. And we already know what Atlanta's going to do about it. And we know what Lip's going to do about it. So, chat, turn your brain on. What's about to happen on your screen? What ultimates are popped? What's about to happen? I'm gonna try and predict it. I think we're gonna have amp speed. I think now that we've seen Balls setting up behind, he's no longer a threat. So now we're going to probably speed in Ramatra ult. I imagine that's going to cause a beat from Chio, followed by potentially a high noon from Lip, and possibly a pulse bomb from Stalker as well. That's probably going to force a response of a beat from Vindame, and then mechanics. So we might see 5 ults here. I probably am totally wrong, but I'm curious. Oh, okay, well, that's so boring. That's so boring. Man, that's just so boring. I wanted my one goats fight where we had a nice big ulti mess, but no. Proper just hits a shot. Jeez, 2 headshots in a row, guys. Did you see this? Look at this. To me, the perfect meta is, map dependent, but also has a lot of like macro and planning carries it, but not so much that we can't see plays like this. Yeah, this proper sucks, because I think that was the problem with goats, is it felt like mechanics were very important, but it wasn't like there wasn't a way to win an unlosable fight or an unwinnable fight. You know, whereas a double sniper meta feels like, you know, you can have all the ults in the world, but somebody hits a headshot and it's completely ruined. So to me, it's like a perfect balance here. And I think so far we've seen a reasonable amount of that, where people with a lot of ults generally won the fight, but we still saw lost fights through mechanics. So, you know, it's a Brawl memento for sure, but you know what? I respect it. So this is a lost fight because Proper just hit 2 headshots in a row at like 75 trillion meters in the middle of all this visual clutter on the screen. It's like, wow, you know, going on Overwatch moment, and he just hits 2 headshots, you know. So it's like, okay, dude, right. Now I still think the same thing is going to happen. The question here is, we probably see Kiriko start sooner in that rotation and beat from Vindame a little bit later. And obviously if Fielder gets his mines. It's been too long. If Fielder gets his Kiriko and Donghak gets his mines, then this is gonna be a mess. Yeah. Let's see. So I actually think opening with Ramattra ult would be a mistake here, because Ramattra ult is something that this comp can very easily avoid. The only reason I think they were looking for it earlier is because the ball was staged behind and they could access the Cassidy. But you notice how safe Lip is playing here? Lip knows what's up. Lip knows that there's a... Like, this is the problem with Cassidy and dive comps, because I look at this as more of like a dive comp, right? With a lot of mobile heroes. So, you know, it doesn't have to be a dive comp. It could be a Brawl comp, it could be a dive comp, it doesn't matter. There's just a bunch of mobile heroes, okay? So anytime there's a big ult trade, the hero that doesn't have a defensive cooldown dies. That's how it works. Like everything's fun in games until teams are popping Ram ult, Pulse Bomb, Beat, and Kiriko ult, and your hero doesn't have a shift. You know, Cass just doesn't have a shift. So what should happen here, unless something crazy happens, is that Proper or Lip might die first, unless they position really safely, which is coincidentally exactly what we're seeing. Because if Proper plays too aggressively and the enemy team beats in, even if his team beats in response, he just doesn't have a shift, right? He's gonna get rolled over. He has roll, right, with damage reduction. But that's why a lot of these like super mobile compositions with a lot of ults generally don't play heroes like Cassidy and play heroes like Reaper and Tracer and things like that, and even Sojourn, because Sojourn's shift is a legitimate defensive cooldown. Roll is not. Yeah, you guys are trolling me. Okay, all right, let's see here. So this is gonna be really cute. You know, I like this a lot from Stalker. This is where like people are playing very cautiously, feeling each other out. Like, you know, which of you guys are going to force an ultimate first? We're controlling space. This is going to be more about controlling space than just mashing ults, because neither team is willing to do that. Let's force out ball. Ball's out. Okay. Max is holding space. Guys, Max is isolated. We can kill this guy. And look at what happens, right? We go get the pulse. That's going to force an instant nemesis for him and a block and Suzu and disengage. And so you're like, oh no, the pulse didn't get a kill. Actually, pulse might have gotten something that's almost as important as a kill. Cast no roll, right? Because now Max has blown his nemesis farm and is now disengaging and has forced Suzu. And what this means that Atlanta probably is going to get more space and the opportunity to actually push now. So that is a high value pulse bomb. What? Now, funny face, funny silliness beside, what do you think happened here? What do you think happened here? Because you're like, because Max is fed. He just fed. This is a certified Hottie 2021 moment, right? This guy's trash, right? How is this guy in the league? You guys tell me. Miscommunication. My guess is that there was an expectation of beat here. That he was expecting beat. I wouldn't even say my guess. I would say 90% chance I'm right here. Or there was a Suzu into a Kiriko ult or something like that called, or he didn't realize we didn't have Suzu. It's a miscommunication. He's expecting beat into a Q, and the reason why he's going so hard right now, why is Max going so hard right now? What does Max see? Do you guys see it? Do you guys see it? Do you guys see it? Right. World's fattest Ramattra ult instantly forces beat. Then we will beat after that. It's over. Like he's exactly. You see stacked squishies and you see lip. They're cooked. If he gets beat here, this fight's probably won for Shock. So this is why, chat, you have to be so careful about the narratives and the trashing of players, because whose fault is this? Is this Max's fault? Is this Vindane says I'll beat you and then just didn't beat? Is this Max not listening? Right? So why not beat on Vindane? Well, Vindane definitely doesn't look like he was expecting Max to go in. So is this Vindane feeding? I don't know. We don't know. Unless you are literally, unless you have the London Spitfire scrim VOD with all the voice comms, you don't know whose fault it is. If you did have the scrim VOD, you would have a 95% chance to guess to who it was. But even then, you still wouldn't be sure because you wouldn't know what they were working on the previous days, and maybe there was like something that they'd planned out that didn't work out right. Proper's fault because he didn't call the whole team yet. Exactly. So that's all I'm saying. Max fed. But was it Max's fault? We don't know. And you could see what he saw and why he went when he went. And yeah, it's so funny that it's such a delightfully massive 8 ult fight ends so anticlimactically. That's Overwatch, guys. That's Overwatch. And that's why it's so hard, because you're thinking about all these factors and then you just mess up a goofy little communicational issue. And that's it. Why didn't Max pop ult? It gives armor back because Max wasn't expecting to pop ult. Max was expecting beat. Then, once his Nemesis form ran out, canceled, then ult. He would have beat first, then ram ult afterwards. Pursue post beat. Maybe he was even thinking that that Chiyu would beat to counter, and then he would ult after the beat was used. Yeah, who knows? Now, I'm kind of curious what they're going to use here first. I imagine it's probably going to be Fen popping ult first, because it's Kiriko ult is a little bit more initial value. Post beat clear. So, yeah, we might see a mines here from Atlanta. I imagine Atlanta will probably set tempo here, because I think... Okay, well, here's a good question. This is a great question. I'm probably going to phrase that differently. Here is an interesting question. Why are Atlanta going in now? They're going in now. Why? This was before the RAM ult quality elevation? No, actually, I think it was after. To ult first, there is, listen to me, chat, there is no inherent value to ulting first. Whatever team gets the most value out of the ultimate wins. Whether that's ulting second or ulting first. There's no value, it doesn't matter. It depends on the circumstance, right? But why do you think they're taking the fight here? They have many ults, but so do Shock. Now, you could make an argument that they're trying to catch Shock off guard and surprise him. That's fair. But I don't think Shock would be surprised by this. Let me ask you a question. Where is a ball slam easier to set up, and where is a ball slam more impactful? Right. Proper should die here. Proper should die here. Now, Lip doesn't have a good angle on it, but Proper should die right here. And even if Shock uses ults in response, if Proper dies here, the fight's pretty much over. Right. So it's really, you know, you could get so heads up about ults and strategy, and you know what this is, chat? Ball slam good this spot of map. Ball slam here, very hard, not good. That's it. That's literally it. It's the hero pick. That's it. Proper should die. There it is, right? They actually don't die, but it forces Suzu and Beat for mines. That's a great trade. The problem here is what we talked about the fight before, where when these ults are used, the slow kid's going to get found out. And the slow kid in this composition is Cassidy. If he doesn't get Suzu, this is feeding from Lip. And we've seen this from Lip before. Bam. So, great response from Shock. Phenomenal response from Shock. Disaster. Absolute disaster. No way Shock loses, right? Yeah. That's crazy. So great play by Donghak. Like, this was phenomenal. It got Suzu and an ult and messed up the enemy team's rotation, forced a ton of cooldowns. We just needed Lip to not be in such a position where he could get run over by Beat. Why was Lip there? Because he's not thinking about Beat. I promise you. Like, you'd be surprised at how many people are like, oh, they had Beat. Oh, you know, I died, you know. When you're playing the slow kid, you have to be able to, you have to know this, right? You have to know this. And Lip is still the slow kid. Because even though he has Beat, well, I mean, he has Beat, I guess. But you still have to be careful about things like module now, right? No chance they lose, guys. Well, no chance they lose that fight. The round, there's another question. Because if you, as long as Proper doesn't get run over, I think you're probably good to go. Or somebody stupid dies to high noon. I think you're probably good to go. Let's check this. The slow kid as a call out. I mean, it's really is true though. Like this is like, especially when you're playing with a composition with Kiriko, Lucio, Tracer, Ball. Who are you gonna beat rush? It's gonna be Cassidy. There's nobody else to reach, unless Cassidy's in Narnia, right? They're trying to mark Ball. They're playing. Oh, he's saying, because this pulse could be really, really big if he hits it. He steals the health pack as well. He actually loses Donghak. Where does Donghak go underneath? Okay, I'm sorry, chat. This is actually the funniest thing I think I've seen all day. Check this out. Let's just appreciate this. This is a Overwatch League Tracer who gets completely juked. Check this out. Look at this. I'm gonna play this at 0.5. Blinks. Balls over his head. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Huh? Where is this guy? Look at this. Ball flies over his head. That's why he loses him. And then the pulse here whiffs, which is a real tragedy, because what does pulse bomb do, chat? Is it 300? This is, again, pro coach here, by the way. Is it 300? It's 300, right? 350? 250? You guys are trolling me. 350. 350. All right, we stick the ball here. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Goodbye. Right. This guy's dead. He's dead. He gets pursued. He gets clipped. It's over. Right there. How low does he get before he grabs Mega? Let's actually find out. Let's get the exact number. Let's get the perfect hindsight coaching experience. Oh, he doesn't die. He almost dies out. He's basically out of the fight. Totally fine. Good trade. Good trade for a pulse, right? It doesn't need to be enough to get the kill. It just needs to be enough to keep the ball out of the fight. That's what we want. You could argue about whether that's the best use of pulse bomb, but yeah. Okay, so we missed the pulse bomb on the ball. We get juked by the ball, and now Donghak has full HP, essentially. And now Stalker and Vendame, disaster. And this is where Ball Tracer is strong. Apes together is strong. And when it's Ball Tracer, apes together is strong on the flank. We're going in. We're going in. No, we're not going in. And they are playing all... I'm actually kind of confused as to what this plan is from Shaw. I think this plan sucks, respectfully. Because I don't think you can force this on Lip. I think this is really not wise. Because... all they have to do is Suzu this guy and beat him, and he kills anybody pushing him. I think when they have beat High Noon, I do not think you can force Ramult. I think the play here is Vendame gets picked off. He should have been following here, of course. But I actually think the problem is the plan. The problem should have been, let's shoot Ball, let's mark Tracer, let's force him to walk into us, we'll pop Ramult, and just kind of be a general nuisance on point. I don't think you can force a hard brawl when they have beat. And High Noon. So you're like, oh, Vendame, he's trolling, right? I think Vendame kind of got left out to dry here. Vendame was definitely on a different page than his team, which is the #1 problem. But the #2 problem is, respectfully, this plan sucks. I look at Proper here. Proper should die, like right now. Proper should die right now. Your slow kid just used his shift. No, he didn't use the shift, whatever. He position pushed into a beat. Proper should die. And there it is, right? This is a really, really bad plan from Shock. Really, really, really not an appropriate plan for the ult situation whatsoever. You can't do that when they have beat. You could do that maybe if you also had beat or you also had Kirikou ult, maybe. But yeah, that is a, as the kids say, a sussy baka. Yeah. It is protein cocoa, I think is what Pepper calls it. It's like cocoa powder and like milk and like a little bit of protein powder and stevia. But yeah, Lip goes Soldier because Soldier is the greatest hero in Overwatch history. And that is a GG's. So, disastrous. Disastrous. Now, what? What? Am I missing something, chat? Why are we running a Ramatra mirror on Oasis City Center? Think they just wanted to try it? I guess so. But man, this is weird. Like this is like the last round I would expect it on. This is like this has to be like one of the worst Ramatra maps in the game, right? Like Winston and Ball, even Diva and Doomfist are so much better on this map. Even Reinhardt's better here. Because you guarantee win jump pad and you at least have pin, right? Like you can pin and control a lateral space, and you can also pin across from this high ground onto here and control high ground. Yeah, maybe so. Yeah. This is wild. I mean, they literally could have been like, hey, yo, let's try Ramatra mirror. Well, but I don't know. I don't think that would have been agreed upon. Because if you don't expect other teams to play Ramatra, you need to know how Ramatra does versus non-Ramatra matters. Because obviously, this is going to be about which team plays the Ramatra better. I don't care about that. We want to know how Ramatra does versus everything else. So they're definitely stress testing here, but it's actually kind of, I feel like it can't be good that they both rolled out Ramatra here. So a little bit of an unfortunate. Ramatra does mean that you have, unless they're on Rein, means you do win the coast side. Why do, how are they so much faster? They TP? Let's grade TPs here. They're on car already they're on the pillar. They're on the pillar 2. We kind of S-key here. Yeah, it looks like the rollouts are the same, but Atlanta's just Chad. Atlanta just W keys. They were like, whoa, they're on Ramatra? No way. No way they're on Ramatra. I'm not gonna lie with you guys. I don't like Shock's positioning here. I don't like Proper's positioning. So you guys ready for it? Your king is gonna get his booty spanked. The GOAT of Overwatch 2 is mispositioned. So I don't know why we're here. We need to be controlling this angle here on this corner to control their enemy cast or their enemy tracer. And if they are not here because they're doing what we are doing, then we will do what Lip does. And Lip forces TP, and through this off angle, prevents the enemy team from having cover without getting pincered from both directions and kills Lucio. I mean, Proper's just mispositioned. Lip is the Giga Chad positioning wise. And you notice that there wasn't even anything like crazy mechanically. But yeah, just a major mispositioning for Proper, who now is going to make me eat my words by getting a kill on Heesang. But yeah, Atlanta controls so much more space with that crossfire. So they were more Chad on the rollout, and then they set up aggressive off angles at the same time. With cover, they just win. Yeah, Proper's washed. He's over. Guess that's it. GG's. Alright, yeah, just not good positioning from Proper there. And that really hurt their ability to control angles and just gave Lip that free kill. Because the thing is, though, even though we traded Tracer after that, Atlanta still had the better positions. So, yeah. Oh! Fraud per. That's one of the rougher things I think I've ever said. Fraud per just gets absolutely dumpstered. Change this guy's diaper. He stinks. Yep. Sorry, dude. You trolled a scrim. You're done. You're cooked. Lip is out there like, I play Sombra, and I'm still better at you in hit scan. Oh, look at Lip! Look at Lip! Lip doesn't care! Lip doesn't care! Lip dies. Okay. Alright. Yeah, this is kind of silly. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Lip is frontlining. We do have a nice little pincer from Stalker here. But Fielder gets the yoinked by yours truly, the GOAT. Right, so that happens. And that's pretty much it. Just honestly, just pretty crappy fight setup. It was just a little bit of, this is what I talked about, like you get that confidence rolling and then you mess up. Which is fine, as long as we're able to build it back again. Honestly, y'all, there isn't a lot deep here. We could break down a little bit more in detail with what happened there. Dave! Thank you so much for the sub, mate. But a lot of it is just the cooldown usage, without going too much in detail, was probably good enough to win the fight. The positioning was probably good enough. It just was a little bit hyper-aggressive. Watch Stalker here. So Lip gets the scrim kill. This is a pretty common thing to do in this map, but it's Lip, so he gets the kill. And then you're saying, look at Stalker? Am I being baited? I'm being baited, am I not? That's a big stick. Oh, later. Well, that was a big stick either way. Okay, big kill by Fen, or by Lip on Fen. That's gonna allow them to walk forward. It's kind of interesting that nobody's taking high ground here, but I guess it's just because the high ground isn't that valuable when they're not controlling it, so you just take the short sight lane and offing on Max. Great pincer here on Max. Max dies. The Kiriko rush isn't even needed, but it ends up being like whatever. Getting point here is really powerful. So yeah. So now we shoot spawn a little bit. So now this is where I'm curious to see. I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I really don't want to overanalyze this because I just think this composition is just so unoptimal, suboptimal that I will look at it a little bit, but I don't want to sit here and think about like where should each team hold. They're playing Ramacha and City Center. Like maybe I've got a little bit of hubris going on here, but like I don't know. I don't feel like this is something that's super smart. It is interesting that they're playing around choke instead of playing around point. I would have expected teams to play around point just because that's a good habit for City Center in general, to burn as much time as you possibly can. But I mean, even with your Ramacha ult, because you're like, oh, we got Ramacha ult and beat, but yeah, but they do too, right? And so I don't know. There's the high noon opener. It's going to create some space. They're trying to isolate Donghak. That is going to force a Nemesis form, and they do get the speed, and they catch Lip. Wow. What a fight win. If this is it, this is wild. They even get the E, and it doesn't matter. Unreal. If they win the fight off of that, that's actually insane. That's so funny, chat. It's like just like the knife, man. It's just the edge of a knife, like either direction. Like it's just a stupid little mistake, you know. All of these ultimates that are available, and it's just a slight mispositioning by Lip, you know, and just a really good amp speed. Wow, we're using that. Okay, and then a really crucial moment here, chat. This is fight losing from potentially from Lijiang here. I don't know if the fight's lost or not, but check this out. And he misses it. And that's going to give Chio time to go for the beat. They actually don't even kill Donghak. And then now Donghak lives. And now there's a lot more room for mechanics on either side. So I think Atlanta still probably loses this. But that was way messier than it needed to be. Okay, that's good. They clutched it out. Good to see, good to hear. That would have been tragic. Okay, so now this is the one I assume you want me to watch Stalker. Lijiang's tracers looked a little shaky, I'm not gonna lie. We, to be fair, have not been studying his POV very much, but I have seen many fights where he's saying goofs on something fairly easy, and it's costing fights. I'm watching my cat look for my other cat, and she just got juked. Okay. I mean, this is... Oh my gosh. Like, what? He did get 2 big pulse bombs on New Queen Street, though.
Oh, boy.
Holy crap.
You know what this is?
Sunshine Bread, thank you for the raid! I appreciate it. We are looking at ATL SCRIMS that were leaked. This is Atlanta, Rein, and Shock. We are on map 3. We have another map after this one as well, which I think is actually Atlanta versus Vegas. But yeah, I appreciate it so much for the raid. Thank you so much. Hope your stream went well. If you guys don't know, Sunshine Bread is a top 500 hit scan player, one of the GOATs, and is currently grinding her way up through the ranks. Yes, so we're checking it out. Now, chat, the most impressive thing about this is not just the mechanics, but I also want to talk about the blink melee, which everybody has noticed, but something that some people may have not noticed. All right, check this out. Check the trigger discipline here. You guys know what trigger discipline is, right? It's not shooting when your crosshair isn't aligned. I think so. The gifted sub artifice. So check this out. So he starts to shoot, right? But he stops. Why? Because his crosshair's missing. He's missing. So he goes, oh, I've lost the tracer. So he stops. Crosshair's realigned. We resume shooting. You see that? That is phenomenal. Now you're watching this at such a slow speed that, but in the moment to be able to quick realign. Oh, don't just. It's a right. That, for lack of a better description, right? Honestly, Stalker has impressed me a lot mechanically. Stalker's impressed me a lot. Lip and Proper have played well, but that's not like a big surprise to me. But without studying POVs, I think Stalker has played really well. I don't know a lot about a lot of these Korean players. I don't follow a lot of contenders in Korea, unfortunately. But this is really good. Watch this at full speed. Stops, continues, bam. That's just really good. Stalker is really showing himself to be a good tracer. And that's just such a free fight win if we can win this, you know? Probably still win this. Oh, I'm caster cursing this guy. He almost just killed himself with his own pulse bomb. Okay, so I want to know what's going on here. So they go, oh crap. We're down a tracer. Let's run it down. Kiriko, enter Ramatra. And who are we going to target? Remember, guys, the slow kid. Who's the slow kid in this composition? Lip. Here it goes. Lip knows he's targeted. I probably would have tried to roll out first because you could have played the corner here and then pop High Noon in a better position. So I do think this is definitely greedy from Lip. Where's my Suzu as well? I imagine Suzu was burned early. Yeah, so that was too early. That's a big mistake from Fielder. When you're in High Noon, you should just be pumping healing into your Cassidy and then waiting until he's crit because he's not likely to get burst. So yeah, big little bit of a mistake there because we would like to have had Suzu right now, for example, and we don't have it because the High Noon is done. I'm also curious, where would Finn's Suzu go? Too early, I think. Too early. Yeah, so I think both Kirikos kind of goofed up their Suzus, and that kills Fen, and then this is going to kill Lip. And then Stalker here goes for the 180 pulse and just barely misses, and then actually gets almost booped into his own pulse bomb. So, should still be one. I really need to stop talking. I just need to stop talking. I need to stop predicting what's going to happen, because every single time I say something, somebody in like proper sitting there in a time machine just like, I'm gonna make this guy look like a total idiot. Look at it. Watch this guy. Watch this. I'm gonna make this guy look like a complete jackass. This guy was an owl. Not likely. Stop. Die. Thank you. Okay. Good. Hate that guy. Alright, guys. I'm not gonna bully somebody, but let's just see if this pulse hits. Come on. No, he's not gonna go for the pulse. Wise man. Very wise. Okay. What happens with Donghak here? I'm gonna see this double. Ooh, tight. So yeah, I honestly just think that like this was a phenomenal mechanical play from Stalker that sets this team up for success. Reasonable response from Shock, but Shock messes up their Suzu, which means that Finn dies unnecessarily. Lip dying because Fielder mismanaged his Suzu makes the fight more difficult than it should have been, considering Stalker handed it to him on a play. So cooldown mismanagement, positioning was fine, a phenomenal mechanical play from Stalker that set up a lot of good stuff after that. Yeah. Right, so, Max wall. Unfortunate. I just find Max just to be the funniest name ever. That's just great. Oh, I'm getting deja vu all over again. I mean, it's the same thing, guys. It's the high noon into the Kirikou ult to try and buy out pressure. Let's see how the Suzus are used this time. Let's watch Fen. No rush. That Suzu seemed pretty well timed. Let's watch what HP he was at before it goes out. He gets blocked by the shield, which probably forces the Suzu a little bit early. Fielder. Mr. Fielder, what are we looking like today? I don't know. Yeah, he just goes. And the Suzu doesn't come in time. So yeah, a little bit of a goof up from Fielder and a little bit of a goof up from, Lip there. But yeah, I think if we're able to get the Suzu there, I think it's pretty reasonable that we actually managed to make this work. But yeah, it's just actually pretty funny. What? How are we losing this fight? Or how are we winning this fight? Because Max isn't even using his ult because he's like a freaking Chio on the flank. All right, Fielder, what do you got for me, mate? Oh, double headshot. All right, Chio, what do you got for me, mate? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm like, I think the Suzu was fine. We're just in a situation where we're like touch or die. So I think maybe Shock could have trusted Heesync a little bit more to touch and then not brute forced it down. But again, like it feels like without getting into over analysis here, it feels like a lot of mechanics, maybe a little bit of rushing from Shock, and that's gonna shut it down. That's crazy. Okay, next round. Like I said, I really don't want to read too much into the Ramachimiro because I will not eat my hat. I will not say that on stream, but I will bet 50 cents that that we will not see anything remotely approaching that on that map. Yeah, 50 cents big sticks. Yeah, I'm not eating my sock. I'm not eating my sock. Yeah. Now, Ramacha makes a little bit more sense here because similarly to the Reinhardt, you can use this to kind of control space and choke them out. And I also think that it's pretty reasonable that somebody was saying that E could be kind of used to disrupt Ball a little bit better than Rein could. That's reasonable. Koodle, thank you for the sub, man. I appreciate it. Eat a glove? No. No. No, 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 no. No. So I think you're going to have, you know, Blue is going to win the high ground here. But then there's always the risk with Ball. I mean, you guys have played this here before. If you get a good ball here, you can hit like a baseball bat across the map. So we'll check it out. Outside of that, not a whole lot. What we'll probably see is something like this, where Donghak is going to look for an opportunity to try and knock somebody off the high ground or slam them off the high ground, and we'll see one of two things. Either we'll see proper Stalker or Lip Stalker, excuse me, controlling point, prioritizing just killing anybody that touches point, because somebody's going to have to drop. You know, it's probably going to be Heesang, and Lip can kind of just sit on a short off angle like here. Hello, chat. Where can I get my screen to look at this? And sit like here and shoot. Or heck, even Lip can sit here and shoot point. And similar to like the Reinhardt May composition we saw in the Ecopoint Antarctica, and you can win point side because it is an angle. The other alternative is that if we want to try for something more aggressive, Donghak can hard slam up top, and we'll see a sped Lucio Tracer pushing the high ground at the same time. Now, what Ramacha should do is put out some pressure poke, control the Cassidy, and when the ball does go in, maybe we toss an E, but it's actually more important that Max controls the backline and prevents Cassidy Kiriko from being able to punish. So it's going to be really, really, really interesting. Hey, appreciate it, Elo. Thank you so much. So I'm really curious to see what happens here. Are we going to see us play Atlanta playing aggressively for up top with ball slam and Cassidy flank, or are we going to kind of play more patiently around point? Because both can work. What? He must get shot by somebody, right? Yeah, he does. It's a little bit confusing to me. I think the ball is a huge concern, but they must have tested this out, but I feel like there has to be a way to where you can at least force Lit from this position. If Max walks forward and leans right, surely he can shield this off and force Lip out of this position. Surely. Right? I mean, he's saying goofs up here for sure, but also this is like Max is just not holding much space at all. And I feel like if you're gonna roll out on Ramacha and not control top, then why are we playing Ramacha? Like, I don't know. Nice little bit of dive timing from there from Atlanta. Lip really needs to give up space. Lip is so aggressive, man. Like Lip, we talk about aggressive for range versus short. Lip is just aggressive, period. Like, I see Ramacha here, and he just doesn't care. And there's the timing. Like, look at the dive timing from Atlanta here. This is really good, guys. This is really good. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, we don't have an off angle, which is a little bit unfortunate, but proper will die here. And I want to look at just a little bit of Donghak. If you guys, I haven't looked at a lot of solo POVs here, but I want to see what this guy's doing here. So you have to be careful. Cassidy can do decent damage to him. He's avoiding Cassidy LOS. Tries this. Do you see why he's diving proper here? He knows proper is not likely to die here, but he doesn't want proper to be allowed to take this angle. So proper has to go back to his team, and he uses stick. So proper's here. Now everybody's grouped up, so that roll through gets a lot of damage. And not only that, but now the slam hits 1, 2 people when before it only hit 1. Why? Because proper used to be in an angle. He's no longer in an angle. He's sitting in his team. So now the slam is just free value. He gets perfect timing, literally 1 HP. Check this out, y'all. 1 HP. So very aggressive play considering he didn't have shields. But he sees an opportunity and just goes for it. And as long as his team commits, it works. And his team does commit. 1 HP. 1 HP. 1. And we survive. That's crazy. So yeah, I mean, really nice shot from Donghak. And honestly, Atlanta as a whole has impressed me a lot with their team play, at least this early in the offseason. You know, like, I think one of the things that I think Gunba talked about in an interview with Yiska a while back is that, like, team play is something that comes with time, sort of, but it also comes with just an attentiveness of the team to really hustle and put it in. So, like, Atlanta, obviously, Shock is playing a little bit messy right now. It's just one meta, it's one scrim block, so we're not going to draw, like, crazy conclusions from this. But Atlanta is definitely putting a lot of attention onto team play right now. Their timing looks really good. I've been impressed with Atlanta so far. All right. So I'm kind of curious here. Like, Atlanta's posturing very aggressively. Now we can theorize that is this an Oasis University situation where it's easier for ball to get value here? Or what is my cat doing? Grimby! Grimbjorn! Grim! Come here! Hey, Grim, come here. Come here. He's yelling, I don't know why. Is this an Oasis University situation where it's easier to get value out of a big slam here? Or is it rather than inside? Come here, Grim. He's such a good caddy. He always does exactly what he's told. Like 25% of the time. Grim! Hey! Grim, come here. Hey, good boy. Good boy. So when I say Grimby, he walks away. We have him really well trained. That's what I'm curious about, because we're posturing. Yeah, this has to be it. This has to be it. Because again, it's the open space, right? The open space with ball is going to feel better. More likely that proper dies. I mean, Lip's angle is not particularly good here. I think that's my only concern about engaging here, is that your hit scan angle is like pretty trash. Like Ramatra can pretty much like, remember we talked about the Ramatra value, like he prevents the follow-up from the dive, and so as long as we have like a shield here, we don't have a shield here. Even if we just have like you see, this is what Max needs to be doing. This is really good. So we just sit here, we don't even need to kill that, but prevent the follow-up. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, wow. It did force a lot. The slam did force a lot, but Lip's lack of follow-up makes this a little bit shaky for me. Monstrous. Yeah. I don't know. They clearly want to take the fight out there. It did cost 1, 2, 3 ults. So Shock isn't like it's definitely a crazy play, but it's not like, you know, an unbelievable play. They use 3 ults, you know? But, you know, I don't know. Here's what I'm expecting. Here's what I'm expecting, y'all. This next fight, I'm expecting them to do the exact same thing, but keep Lip in a safe position and try and disengage Kyriel. Because I promise you, as soon as something like that happens again, Finn's probably just going to dry Kyriel without having any scouting, and then they can actually disengage it. So remember the Sun Tzu thing. Appear strong when you're weak, right? Atlanta's probably going to try and appear strong, even though they're really weak right now. And as long as Lip is in a position where he can disengage, everybody else can kite it up. Do you think Shock can pick up a dedicated hit scan player? I don't know. I don't know. Is this Shock's roster right here? Yeah, this is it. I don't know Heesang well enough. I can tell you that Proper is a good Widowmaker player and a good Cassidy player. I don't know how good his Ashe is. I don't know how good his Hanzo is, although I imagine his Hanzo is pretty decent. And I don't know how good Heesang is. But the problem I'm seeing is that if Heesang is not a good tracer, then we could potentially have a problem. Because you need your projectile player, your flex DPS, to have a good tracer if you want to put Proper in hit scan. But if Proper has the better hit scan and the better tracer, then anytime you're running Sojourn Tracer, Cassie Tracer, Ashe Tracer, Sombra Tracer, you're going to have a real problem. Because as we've seen here, Heesang isn't exactly slapping your mama with Tracer right now. But it's still early in the season. Maybe Heesang just had a really bad map, really bad block. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this, give this a red check mark, and when the season starts, guys, don't go on Reddit and say, oh, Heesang's Tracer's bad. Just say, Heesang's Tracer didn't look strong this scrim block. When the season starts, we need to keep an eye on it. We need to keep an eye on it. So we will not draw conclusions from this, but it will be a red circle to go and investigate later. Proper vouch for he's saying, then Proper's vouch matters a lot more than what I'm saying. But I'm still looking at it later. The side is down? That's wild. But yeah, okay, again, going back to the planning here, I imagine Ball Trace are going to go aggressively here just to kind of bait out the Kyriel and then probably disengage afterwards. You could play around point as well, but knowing Atlanta, I don't feel like they would do that. And I'm casting curse. There it is. There's the aggression. Wow, I can't believe they're high nooning. I really cannot believe they're high nooning. I cannot believe they're high nooning. I actually don't like this play. I really don't like this play because either one of two things happen. Either they just completely disengage entirely, or Lip dies. Lip gets run over. I mean, it's the Atlanta Classic, right? Nothing, no fights lost, right? I don't know. So now we could just high noon. Proper can just high noon if he wants. Proper should just high noon. Or Kyriel. This gets really messy from Shock. This gets really messy. Why is it so messy? The ball makes things hairy, okay? And I think, like, part of me is like, I think the ball makes it so it's so hard to, like, actually control and contest high ground without feeling like you're not going to just die. But it does mean that things like these are really easy to set up. Max goes in while we're peeling off ball. Max loses a lot of HP. I will say this, that Max has been struggling a little bit around ball because we're finding times where Max goes in while Finn is turning around and peeling ball. And so Max is losing a lot of HP. The thing with Ramatra is, unlike Reinhardt, Ramatra is really an in or out hero. He's very tempo oriented, like they said in the thing, where he's hot or he's cold. Reinhardt could go, oh, I'm taking damage, I'm in a shield. Ramatra can't really do that, right? His shield up time is really low, and even when he's in Nemesis form, unless he's standing there and blocking, he's not so good. So Max is kind of in this awkward position where he's kind of having to, like, oh, go in, oh no wait, ball's in. Okay, like now we go in, but like I've already used half of my Nemesis form and now I'm like 1 HP. And like this timing needs, it's a little bit like a Winston bubble. It really needs to be tight. It really needs to be tight. So I'm a little bit concerned because like this is more of a panic ult than anything. The Kyriel doesn't feel like it gets a lot of value, and Stalker is, because Shock is so stacked right now. Proper is so stacked right now. I will say this as well. I don't know. The problem with Proper splitting is get slammed by a ball. I don't know. I just don't like the Ramatra, guys. I just don't like the Ramatra. You're like, it feels like Shock's positioning is so like smoked. Like they can't take any positions here. Like Stalker stalls for way longer than he has any right to. And even if they get cap here, like, holy stall Batman. That was 2 of the most powerful ults in the game completely negated while actively stalling. Give Toddy stuff for more release? No. What do you think of the current Infernal roster? I am honestly not. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am not very informed on a lot of the APAC region teams. It was very hard to follow last season because I was focusing on my own team, you know, where you're working like 70 hours a week and you just don't have time to watch a lot of APAC. APAC wasn't a big concern, at least until some of the bigger things like Hawaii. So I am out of the loop. I know profit from what I know, but yeah. Yeah, so anyway, Shock gets point, but now we've got a really, really big window for Atlanta to go in hard. We're probably not going to see a beat, but we are going to see another ball engage with a lip angle and tracer angle that's going to result in either mines or pulse. Either one of those will probably force a beat, which will be responded with the Chio beat, and then I think Atlanta's going to win this fight. Yeah, I apologize. It's the weirdest thing, guys. I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of the game, and I know a decent amount about the Western players. Not even a lot, But I'm like, when it comes to like rosters and who's strong at this, like I know of Heesang, but you could hold me at gunpoint, and I probably, before this review, I wouldn't have known if Heesang was a support or DPS player. It's that bad. So I'm definitely not a jack of all trades in that regard. Okay, and then we just win the fight off of that. Ladies and gentlemen, Overwatch. Sitting here crying tears over like what the best game plan would be, and then just Finn hits a shot. You know, I will say Stalker was a little early there. I think like if those of you guys who've known me coaching, and I think Stalker could have been a little bit better time there. Yeah. And that really screws up Max. Oh, we're going. It will get beat for beat. I like the decisive beat from Vindame. Don't RNG about whether Max is going to live or not. Lip needs to die. Lip doesn't die, but Fielder dies. And Lip does die. That's a very, very decent trade for Shock. Botoxification. Hey, mate. Thanks for the subs. Or the subs, I say. Thanks for the 3 months. What do you think about Ramattra as a hero? I am disappointed with Ramattra as a hero. I don't want to get too far into it, but I'm disappointed with Ramattra as a hero. Let's put it that way. Finn gets a little smoked. Why did we not boop this slam here? Oh, we just don't have it. I think we over pursuing the trade. Ah, yeah, that's it right there. Vindam goes a little bit deep. Spiros! Thanks for the sub, mate. See if Heesang landed Pulse. I mean... He gets Suzu'd. Yeah, he lands it. I mean, Ball is just a strong hero, y'all. Like, he's a strong hero. Like, right now, Ball is just a strong hero. So, we're sitting here like, you know... Did Finn mess up? Did Vindane mess up? Yes, I think Vindane definitely messed up there. But Ball's a strong hero. I think probably a stronger hero than Ramattra. So, and you know, Donghak is one of the best Ball players from my understanding in the world. So, you know. First pole stuck? No. Don't forget, you guys are forgetting New Queen Street. See, you guys got this recency bias going on here. You guys got to be careful. You guys got to be out here being like, Heesang's a noob tracer. We don't know that. Ball, ladies and gentlemen. Ball. Finn. Ah, just a little bit late in the Suzu. That's kind of a goof up mechanical mistake. Let me actually look at this engage though from Atlanta, because it looks set up well. I like actually how Atlanta are positioned here. I think Finn could have been maybe a little bit better positioned, but yeah. Yeah. Can this composition fight a Rein Mei composition? Yeah, which one? Alright, looks like last fight here. Ram loses to Rein... Oh, yeah, Ram should lose to Rein Mei. Ram should lose to Rein Mei, and on most maps, except for longer sightlane maps, which you're not likely to see Ramattra on longer sightlane maps. Versus Ball... it's a little bit harder because you can't control the Ball as well. I think Ball does pretty decently versus Rein, but I would still like Rein over Ramattra versus Ball. Shock really seems like they want to stress test this Ramattra, but I just do not have confidence in the composition. So it's not so much as like their execution needs to get better. I just fundamentally don't think Ramattra is very good right now. I don't think he's very good at controlling space. I think Ramattra is only good in strictly Brawl metas when Brawl or surviving or tanking Brawl is really strong. He doesn't even have the mobility that Reinhardt has. So really, this should be really quite simple. Atlanta can just Kiriko on point and High Noon really whenever they'd like. Pulse from Stalker is, you know, a 50-50 as it is, which is pretty high for Pulse Spawn. Case in point, does he actually hit it? Nope, he misses. I think that's going to get Suzu'd as well, though, so it misses as good as a mile in this instance, so it gets what you want out of it. I will say again, though, that it does feel like Stalker and Donghak were not exactly on the same page here. So maybe cleaning up that timing just a little bit. As good as Atlanta's team play has been, it could definitely continue to be better. Finn gets caught with his pants down. The Suzu is used. There's the ball. He gets kind of caught out in the open, and honestly, Vendame's peel here isn't very good. They get the slam off. He's trying to peel off his Cassidy and ends up leaving his Kiriko out to dry. And that's going to be game. This is something else, though. Let's watch this. What is this, a pulse on Tracer? Oh, it's a prediction pulse. It doesn't quite land. That's one of the ones where if it works, you look like a big brain. If it doesn't, you look like an ass. But yeah, that's going to be it. Even with the kill to Chio, right? Right? Yeah, that's it. Okay. So I think this is going to be it for us until we do have one more code, but it's not going to be versus Shock. So Shock, trying out a lot of comps, shaky understanding of Brawl. I think Max and Junbin struggled a little bit each. Junbin especially looked a little bit lost, but a little bit of communicational diff, maybe some understanding issues as well. I think Shock were testing some compositions, trying to force some compositions, which ultimately and sadly didn't look to be so good, but you never know. You never know. The meta might change, maybe their execution will improve, and they have a strategy that is way beyond my understanding, which may or may not work out. So yes, we will be looking at Vegas versus Atlanta as our next code, and then we'll probably call it for the night. We will be back on Thursday doing more codes. And whether that's London or Vancouver, whether that's Gladiators or Saints, you guys will get to vote for which one we do on Thursday, and then we'll do whatever's left on Saturday. Yeah, so chat, I'm going to run an ad. I'll be back in 30 seconds. I need to tinkle. Give me just 1 second, and then we will go over one more juicy code, Atlanta versus Vegas. Be right back. Right back. Okay, one more code. This should be fun. So this will be a little bit of a different matchup in terms of teams, Vegas versus Atlanta. We looked at a little bit of Vegas over the weekend and last week. It was pretty fun. Yeah, if you didn't get an ad, I don't know. Twitch sometimes doesn't do this, so it is what it is. Let's take a look. Our next code will be. What's our next code going to be, chat? What is it going to be? Codes. I have to actually run my own command. 0 SGJN9. And Vegas was definitely struggling from what we saw last week a little bit. Again, early in the season, nothing that we want to kind of go into too detail. I'm very, very excited about this one though, because it is Lijiang, so we are going to be seeing not only different teams but different matchups. So there's going to be more to discuss here. What are we looking at here? Okay, let me get some water here. So I'm a little concerned for Vegas because Atlanta has definitely showcased themselves to be quite a good team so far, at least for early in the offseason in terms of scrim bucks go. So I don't imagine this one to be too pretty. Now, this is where things get really, 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 really juicy. Here's the question, ladies and gentlemen. How does this Brawl matchup go? Because we already know both teams are going to roll out white. But how does a Cassidy May beat a Symmetra Junkrat? There's two ways that they win. Let's see if you guys can come up with both of them. How does a Cassidy May beat a Symmetra Junkrat? Because it can be done. I don't know which one's technically stronger right now. I haven't watched enough scrims, but there's value in both. land the wall. Right, so you can either get a fat, juicy wall, control white off of a big, fat, ugly wall. You get a huge resource trade. That's one way. There's another way to beat it, though. Better range poke. Cast flanks, cast off angle, heck, even May off angle, right? Because if you look at the weaknesses of Symmetra Junkrat, both are really good in like tight, short ranges and like right? But as soon as you open up the map a little bit, ironically, May is better at off angling than Symmetra and Junkrat is. She just has better poke, right? So what I would say here is either we get a big fat May wall and we win, or we don't get the big fat May wall and we play around point and you have your Cassie with like Lucio here and you May kind of playing with your Rein taking an off angle here. And yeah, Sim Junk will control white, but as soon as Sim Junk walk out and touch sun, I mean, it's like real life. If you get Symmetra and Junkrat players out of their tiny little rooms and out into open space and touching grass and the sunshine, they die. That's generally how those things work. They're D-Gen heroes. So whenever D-Gens touch grass or see sun, they die. So Cassie May players, however, are chats, right? They exercise, they stretch their legs, they can sprint, they're strong, they're great. So yeah, either we get the initial May wall, and then this is either going to be going really well. But again, if the May wall isn't fat and we continue to brute force this in here, then it's going to be really, really hideous. Now, there's one other really, really important difference here. And this kind of trumps everything else. Now you guys are like, oh, Dove, it's messed up. Well, no, Dove TP'd his team, right? But this means that we can't win the fight. It's not, even if we get the world's most succulent May wall, unless our Rein like pins the Symmetra or something, you're not going to win. You're just not. So as soon as you see, that's the nice advantage of playing Symmetra, is you get the Symmetra, right? And Symmetra's pretty good, but also you get to keep the Symmetra. And you don't have to take a 4v5. So the TP for Vegas is probably because they want to TP if there's not a Rein mirror. But this is going to go really ugly if Vulcan fights this. If the Dove should be on Sojourn if they're going to teleport, I mean, you make good arguments, but again, I think we're getting too far into the specifics of me just not having enough scrim practice to know the answer to that. And Malthal's dead. Like, you just knew it. You just knew it. I look at Vulcan going, oh, we're dead. Malthal walks forward. Malthal's isolated, instantly ice blocked. Yes, the lamp is late. The lamp is really late, but it's over. It's dead. You are already dead. Lip, man. That's a huge mistake from Lip. This is actually such a nice play, though. This is what your Symmetras should be doing. So what Symmetra lacks up for in what I would say lateral map control, she can get in terms of like going deep in backline. And also, my information might be outdated a little bit. Because May definitely, I think, has better range than Symmetra. But Symmetra has much better range than she ever did in Overwatch 1. So a Symmetra off-angling, especially with new TP, is maybe way better than I'm giving it credit for. Like, you guys are underestimating how fast these freaking orbs travel. I mean, maybe some of you guys aren't. But these things are laser fast. Bam, you see that? I think the problem here is that he's beaming. He's clearly not a Symmetra player. So if what a good Symmetra player would have done right here is right here, you should have reloaded or at least charged a right click right now. Right click, then throw a turret right here at the same time. So you come out of the teleporter, not reloading, but right clicking. And then even if you do mess it up, you would never ever beam out of a teleporter. You only beam when you can't. When you can reach something at point blank range, and even then versus a squishy, usually right click is better. And then he gets booped away from his teleport. So the Lip is just clearly not a Symmetra player, but yeah, you'd be surprised at how much like little bit of nuance there is with Symmetra. The hero is actually pretty interesting. I'm joking aside, Symmetra in Overwatch 2 is actually a pretty cool hero. I'm still not a fan of the turrets, but there's a lot of nuance to the hero. Dove is just meanwhile chatting. I mean, this is how Cass wins, you know? You take an angle. Love to see it. That was a nice play. Okay, let's see what this happens. Dove has to be very careful though. Don't go, Dove. Chill, Dove. Oh no, Dove is too early. No! No, Dove is too early. He gets the kill, and now he just needs to wait for Vulcan and Malthol to get there, and then, like, you know, Luke is in spawn, so Dove needs to chill. Nice shot, but he needs to be careful. Like right now, we need to be backing off. Back. No. Crap, man. Almost. That being said, we might still be able to cap point here because this is a 4 versus 4. They do cap point. They're gonna try and push on BAP, or maybe they're just gonna stand still. We need to disengage now. We're too slow. It's just indecisiveness. It's indecision. Like, we could have pushed right now on BAP with Maywa, or even just with our Mei taking the Junkrat 1v1, and this Junkrat dies, right? While our Rein is distracting them elsewhere. Like, but it's just like a little bit of like hesitancy. Like, we missed the wall, which sucks as well. But it's all about the flanks, y'all. It's all about the flanks and like being like a cohesive unit. They get a little bit smoked. Unfortunate. Yeah, Vegas has a coach, Empress. She was the coach for Odyssey for a while. So they're gonna hold the choke, which I think is reasonable, even if you don't have a Mei, because Symmetra and Junkrat are also really good at chucking the choke. Chucking the choke, I say. There's the BAP window. There's the BAP window. Now I will say this. Just a little lesson for the plats in the chat, respectfully. Do you notice that Junkrat isn't even using the BAP window? Because holding an off angle here with a different line of sight is more important than shooting through the window. You only need like 1 or 2 people shooting through a BAP window to get value out of it. You should have other people take angles to capitalize off of the space that it creates. And I will say this as well, that Dove is doing the right thing here. This is the strength of Cassidy. And he even times it really well. Now he has to be really careful because one Symmetra right click kills him, but that is the right play there. So they trade BAP windows. They rip tire actually pretty early. This shouldn't work. Case in point, Vulcan almost dies. Vulcan needs to chill. A little bit of a spooky pin. But honestly, this so far so good. I mean, time is ticking for sure, which is not optimal. But yeah. I like the angle from Dove. You know what, I will say this. Do you guys remember what Vegas's main issue was in terms of like individual like positional play? At least on dive. You know, I'm just now thinking about this right now. My opinion was I felt like the supports could have been playing, yeah, passive supports, right? Like I felt like they could have been like, I wonder here. I feel like Rack should be with Dove. I really do. I don't think we need speed through the choke. I think help Dove to control the single. Okay, good pressure on Rein. We win this cooldown trade here. Good block. Nice. Probably not necessary to beat this. That's a bit of a mistake. We shouldn't have used both. So yeah, a bit of an over ult there, I think. You just need to have the confidence that, you know, you played around the shatter well. You had a really nice wall trade. We probably didn't need to beat that there. There's the tempo, there's the aggression. Nice little off angle. We need to get out here, and now we need beat, but we don't have it. That was the concern with the beat there. So this is what I would describe best as an overextension, just because of the ult situation. Push. We're forcing a push on Rein, disregarding the off angles. Really nice lamp from Fielder. Oh, he doesn't even need to lamp. Oh my gosh, the window cuts off the high noon. Simwall's busted, y'all. And then that force pushes Malthol into an overextension because we're forcing it on Rein. Lip is now punishable. And he's gonna live. Jeez. That's crazy timing. That beat comes in at the picture perfect second. And then Vulcan. Big shatter. But it gets beaten and he dies for it. Yeah, I don't know, y'all. Yeah, I think we had too much of an advantage. We needed to beat there. And their sim wall was just so good. Nice bait on the wall. Stalker is on the Mei. I think Mei is a lot easier on the retake than Junkrat because Junkrat doesn't allow you to take space like a Cassidy or a Mei wall does. You can wall through the choke if you're attacking. Lip. Oh, Lip gets so lucky here. This is just ego, man. Like, he almost dies from that. So Dove does fine. Vulcan gets put on his back. The counter pin. Yeah, and they just shatter. Yeah. It wasn't even a bad retake attempt. And Rack does try to boop Stalker in. Why is Luke on Curie? That's a big mistake right there. So this is actually probably what cost us this attack. So I'm sitting here trying to like investigate what's going on here. I don't quite understand the Kiriko choice. And then this is the big one right here. You have to trust your Mei to use her ice block. Because the problem here is that as soon as that's used, you're cooked. You need, if you Suzu this fight's still winnable. Yeah. Okay. And again, guys, let's try and be respectful here. It's the same kind of thing with the shock. You know, people are early in the season. People are trying stuff out. I just want to analyze because it's Owl Scrim codes. We're not here to flame people. Okay, Echo Mercy. Ana, Ball Tracer. Really, we need the most important thing is going to be an aggressive Echo, like an aggressive Echo that's actually getting work done. This is a lot of resources put into a single Echo, so we need to have our Echo aggressively playing, whether that's marking Doomfist or Tracer, whether that's marking Soldier. I also think here that, I mean, Dove is trying to gatekeep. It looks like Dove is trying to mark. But we need damage from our Echo Mercy. We need timings from our mouth. Like, Mouthful has to be on that. Like, I think my question here is, like, when we're calling things, my ball's in. If Mouthful isn't able to follow up on this, then we're going to have a real problem. Because that's a pretty decent nade. And we're not able to, like, actually get anything off of that. No, I know the Mouthful clip. I'm not gonna sit here and yeah. I really don't want to do this. Mouthful, the problem here is that Mouthful's here, but then Mouthful goes back to main. I feel like from here, you should go back and you should be putting damage out on this Soldier and on this your damage boosted. I get that you don't want to stay a million miles away from Soldier, but you need to be pressuring these off angles. And what happens is because Mouthful rotates back to here. I mean, heck, even Vulcan's on point now, right? Which I get at points unlocked, but this just gives them the entire map. And so now Dove is left out to dry because he's getting no help. He's getting literally no help. His Ana's actually not even healing him. Like, Dove is the only person trying to control space here, and he gets no help. So now Dove is going to lose the duel, and Dove might even die. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 members of Vegas all in the same spot. And now Dove, sitting inside of his own backline, dies to a random Kiriko shot. There's just no space control. Mouthful's sitting at 18% ult charge, and the point's unlocked. Lip, who's been sitting inside of his own backline, has more ult charge than Mouthful. You can't have a damage boosted Echo sitting inside your own backline. You need, like, yes, maybe the Echo isn't the best play, but you have to have some ego. Like, you have to have some ego. You have to have some confidence in yourself and your ability to spam out or shoot or control space. Like, even just Mouthful shooting here and hitting a headshot on Stalker disengages out. Now Dove has the off angle. So now Mouthful can play aggressively in the side and look for a dive bomb later on, right? Like, the map control Vegas forfeits here is just unbelievable, right? It's just so... They lose so much space. And, like, Overwatch is a game of space, y'all. And if you can't control space, you will die. Like, I would go as far to say that Luke probably should have stayed here and helped Dove win this angle, because by giving up this angle, Luke guarantees that their Doomfist and Tracer get the off angle. It would be better to die here than to die here. I'm just going to be that guy. Like, that's just the truth. Yeah. It's just over. It's just over. We don't control space. Everything comes back to space, guys. Everything comes back to space. Space and timing. The fundamentals of Overwatch. Stalker gets cleared out. 2v1. Nice work. Really good job. We get the rotation. Now we need to double back. We've cleared them out of the space. Either we continue to rotate and control this side of the map, or we rotate back and control this side of the map. Okay, so it looks like we're leaning left side. No, we're not. Luke is on one side. We have Ball on the other. There's the Nano on Echo. Our Ball isn't really in at all. Our Tracer isn't in at all. Let me talk about what I'm... Let me be very specific, okay? Because I'm kind of just like whining here, okay? This is what needs to happen. You can have your Ana rotate to here. You're going to have your Ana assist your Ball Tracer to clear out and rotate through the single. With Ana pocket from here. Once your Ana is pocketed here, once your Ball Tracer are here, we are then going to Nano our Echo Mercy, who may or may not be here or even here, to then dive in with Ball Tracer while our Ana is safe back here. By doing so, you give your Ana good LOS to help control space so that Vulcan isn't completely healless and coming in missing all of his armor, because Luke was walking towards point and healing an Echo when he already had a pocket. Your Ana needs to be helping your Ball Tracer win duels, not pocketing an Echo with pocket. As a result, Dove is not winning his duels. And Luke dies to a pulse bomb because he's at point blank range on the enemy Doomfist Tracer. In addition, Vulcan isn't able to get the engage that he wants because he's not getting any Ana healing at all. I don't know why he stopped rolling so soon. He needs to get in there. Like, the thing with Nano Echo is any help that you can give the Nano Echo, he messes up his grapple. He messes up his grapple. He messes up his grapple. So he grapples here. He needed to grapple here for a better slingshot to get on top of Lip. If we fireball Lip, Lip dies. And then Dove, trying to mark Tracer, is unsuccessful. Luke dies. Dove is stuck. They visor, it's over. Chio booped him as well. Okay. Either way. Like, this is so much resource to put into an Echo that still doesn't have an ultimate, even after the Nano. And that's partially on Mouthful for playing more aggressively, and also partially on Luke for not positioning in a way to control Ball Tracer, and also on Ball Tracer for not controlling space properly. I mean, we could probably look at Rack and find things that's going wrong as well. They're going to go in hard. Luke dies. What happens with Luke here? Nah. He misses nade and dies. Yeah, and then we don't even get our sleep dart off. We also miss our pulse. Atlanta tempos things really nicely around the nade. They get a nice overextended kill on Lip. The Valk is good. Dove gets punched off the map. Hawk big brains him. Watch this, chat. I want you guys to watch this. Starts a charge up punch, and it looks like he actually flicks his crosshair away. You see that? He pretends to that he's going to turn his punch elsewhere, like he's going to play around a blink, but instead he goes right back and punches him. Watch it one more time. Oh, nope, just kidding. Wild. Valk is good, stickies are good. Let's check out Mouthful here. Fat stickies, full man stickies. Luke is doing his absolute darndest to survive. He does have full cooldown, so he should be able to survive. We force the... I would probably prefer the sleep dart and the Doomfist there. So he's probably going to die for that. He does. Eternal did... Yeah, they want to fight on Control Center. And then, unfortunately, that's it. Really not a good, not good map control. Not good map control from Vegas. They need to do a better job supporting their off angles and flanks, controlling space. And I really think that when you have an Echo with Pocket, we need some ego. We need some more ego there. We need better ego, better timing. Mouthful needs to have a chip on his shoulder. All right. This comp seems pretty reasonable. Aggressively marking Hawk. Hawk goes out. We need to keep rotating. They're going to keep rotating. They keep catching. That was really nice. They're just permanently marking Doom. Now we just need to care lose cons. The soldier here is an actively weak point of the composition now. At least in my opinion. We just need to not overextend. We survive. Mouthful gets rolled. I mean, this is what we talked about, guys. This is the Vegas curse, right? Where it feels like our DPS are always pressing W, but never with the support. Mouthful doesn't have rack positioning. He doesn't have Luke positioning. Heck, he doesn't even have Luke POV. And I want to know why. Right? This has to change if Vegas wants to perform better. This has to change. We cannot be losing fights to that. Like Mouthful takes a really reasonable angle, right? Cover, good sightline, and doesn't get any healing. Because like Donghak could lose a ton of HP for that if he's able to stay. Probably shouldn't have even needed to use shift there. And that's going to cost. That's it. They try to go hard and lip. Luke is able to TP out. Rack is cooked. Reasonable play, though. You're down one. And that's going to be it. So, Atlanta. Dove gets smoked out of Pulse Bomb, and then they're just going to spawn. That's a punch off the map. They catch lip. They just need to sign Samito. Didn't he die faster than healing could have traveled? No, he didn't. At the very least, Suzu. You need to be on, you need to be assisting your aggressive off angles. You cannot watch Mouthful. 193, 197, we're okay. Still not healed. 183. That's, if this gets Suzu'd or healed even a little bit, this target survives. And regardless of whether he died faster than that, okay, maybe Hawk just had better mechanics, maybe Mouthful's movement wasn't there. In theory, you have to be there. You have to be there. And like we saw in the previous reviews, not being there costs him a lot of fights. So you make a good point. Potentially, that would have been a kill is a kill, but it doesn't excuse us of not even trying to be there. Okay, Kitsune rush on point. We should be okay. The Suzu gets forced. That's somebody misses off the map. Mouthful goes in. I don't understand this decision. I just think he misreads things. I'm not sure why he slides in. Because we miss our E pretty badly. And the pulse bomb misses. Doomfist is behind us, but we're sitting in Kitsune Rush with their Lucio and Kiriko on us. Once again, Luke is just so tunneled on Vulcan. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I think this is okay. I just don't think Mouthful should have slid. I don't think Mouthful should have slid. So Mouthful slides basically into the middle of the enemy team and dies. Because I like the quick rotation of point and the Kiriko ult on point, and then you could peel off. Like, you peeled off their Kiriko ult, you peeled off, and then, oh, we commit beat, and we're down 1, but we still get demeched. And we, yeah, this fight's lost. What's the point of D.Va here? The point of D.Va is to mark their Soldier, Tracer, and Doom. The D.Va is actually not even that terrible in this composition here. So, like, let's actually watch what Vulcan's doing here. So we assist the rotation of point. They use Kiriko ult. Hard marking on their front line, preventing them from taking space, right? You see how, like, he's gatekeeping these guys from playing aggressively with his Matrix and body, right? Now, he could go back and peel this, but it's not going to work. You're just going to enable these guys to walk forward. So Vulcan's holding space, holding space. He gets punched in, but he survives for forever. It's just a question of Mouthful dies really fast and we don't get our beat off in time. I actually think the D.Va makes a reasonable amount of sense here. And you could saw it first fight, right? We hard rotated on them and we just marked the Doomfist and killed the Doomfist. You know, you can zone backline really easily as D.Va. Mouthful just slid in, unfortunately. Yeah, that's true. I'm forgotten. All right, so we're going to see a fast rotate. Probably we'll see a Kiriko, a Sojourn ult. My concern here is, okay, you guys know what the fight is going to be, right? Hey, Smex. Yeah, what is my hair looking like? Oh my days, it is something else. I don't use any hair product, guys. This is bed hair, front and center. I brushed my teeth today, though, so we're good to go. So, what is Vegas going to do? What is Atlanta going to do? And if you're coaching Vegas here, how do they win the fight? You guys tell me. Let's get some discussion going here. Today. Shut up. Good to see you, Smex. Hope you're doing well, mate. Setting up Mouthful for ult. Right, so they're gonna press Q. They're gonna press Q. They're just, the Sojourn ult is not hard to set up. You just take an angle, you find a sight line, you press Q. Now, what is Atlanta gonna do? They're gonna force beat. And then Valful should die. So what I want Vegas to do is I want them to use Sojourn ult in a position where they will get damage done and force beat, but I don't want Vegas to use a single cooldown. Amp Speed, Matrix, and Suzu should be saved along with the disengage route to be able to disengage beat. And at the same time, Dove should go to point to force the split. So let's see what happens. You cannot get run over baby here. You cannot. We should be using, oh, they're trying to chase Lip. There it is. They get... Mouthful should die. Cried, dude. So they chase Lip out. Nice. He just needs to hit the shot. And that's it. Here's the thing, guys. I want to show you guys a meme that I think will demonstrate my point here. Let me actually pull it up on Chrome here. Hang on. I have to find the right meme, guys. This is I can't. It's the 21st century. If we can't communicate with me, this is. Let me give you guys a good representation of what we're talking about. Okay. Okay. Let me get a. I think we need more context here. No, that's not gonna work. Need to move this out of the way. No, you can't do this to me. Okay, hang on, chat. We got this. Hang tight. Feeding. Do you guys get me? Now, this is a little bit, this is what it is. When Malthul shifts in, if Malthul hits that shot, the Lucio dies and they win the fight. It's over. They just straight up win the fight. It's GG's, game over. Malthul doesn't hit the shot, or the second shot, or the third shot. So then he shifts in. When he shifts in for that third shot, we have now gone from crazy mechanical aggressive play. He doesn't hit it though. So that's my point, is Proper has earned this because Proper more often than not will hit the shot. Same thing we've seen with Lip a little bit. Malthul is not hitting the shots, and so what looks like a feed is just probably pretty reasonable if he gets the support and he hits the shot. So you either make the shot or you see yourself become the villain. Or you pop the Q, you just shoot people, you force the beat and you disengage. You either go for the safe play, which we predicted them to try and do, which they didn't do, or you go for the RKO, focus the Lucio, and it doesn't work. This meme will never not be funny to me. I don't. It's so. I don't know. It just gets me. Know what you can do? Yeah. I mean, I guess it's hard for me to say, you know. I guess my question is why is Malthul on Sojourn? Why is Dove not on Sojourn? I don't know that. And if I'm in the Vegas Eternal Scrims, that's the first question I'm asking. Because Dove is a solid Sojourn. We saw that. So unless something has shifted and Dove has regressed, Dove should be on Sojourn. Malthul plays Tracer. His Tracer is fine. It's not any worse than Dove's. It might be better than Dove's, but Dove should be on Sojourn. Where it might be a proper thing where Dove is better than both Sojourn and Tracer. Yeah, could be. But I'm pretty sure Malthul plays a decent amount of Tracer. Maybe just a test, yeah. But we've seen a lot of Malthul Sojourn. It's a lot of testing. I don't know. Mid-arrow Dove is a better Tracer than Malthul? Okay. Either way, chat, it's tough. Looking good, Spilo? Thank you. Yeah, hey, human resources, wait a second. I've seen this before. Stop harassing me, chat. You almost got me there. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I might pause on the Vegas reviews for a while, even if stuff gets, I can't imagine stuff gets leaked anymore. So it's just as well, because this doesn't, right now, a lot of the bottom half teams it's tough. I think it's like, we need to give them more time to cook. You know, we need to give them more time to like sort their crap out. You know what I'm saying? And kind of level up their play. Because right now it honestly just feels a little, I wouldn't even say depressing, because it's early in the season. It's not depressing. These guys will sort their crap out, but it's not, there's not a lot to learn. At least with Shock and Atlanta, even though Shock wasn't really playing that well either, there was something different to look at. I don't feel like we learned a whole lot from here. I definitely was excited that we got to see some Reinhardt gameplay, which even though it was short, we got to learn a little bit from that, but it's tough.